Hello, my lovelies. Elsie here with your sneak peek for the week. How you doing? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. I'm grateful that you are here. I'm here to read from all these cards. I've got a bunch of decks to my left. There's 12 of them exactly, and I'm going to read for all of you from all of these decks for each sign of the zodiac. I do read for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs. If it resonates any other way for you, then have at it. And if it doesn't resonate for you, just please remember that these are all general readings and they're not meant to resonate with anyone. If at any time I say anything that makes you feel offended, then please just click on the X and let everyone else have their time here to look at what they want. Thanks for doing that. So let's take a look at the 12 decks. I'm going to read from each of them, and I'm going to ask you to please stop watching tarot just for your sun sign. Look, you can do whatever you want, but it's way more interesting when at least you have your sun, moon, and rising. If you don't have your exact time of birth, then please use just the AM or the PM. Most places online that are free, they'll give you a chart, will allow for that. And so, yeah, I'd love for you to get the rounder picture. The last thing I have to tell you is that private reads are open, friends. If you are interested in any of that, please look at the pinned comment. Under every video, I always leave a pinned comment for you to let you know what's going on in terms of what's going on in the membership area. You can click on the membership link if you're interested in seeing what's going on there. And if you're interested in a private read, please do click on the link to Hipsy. Take a look at my packages and prices. And if you are interested in a live read, please know the live reads are on sale. They usually are, but you do have to book ahead. So please check out my timetable and the prices therein. And if that's something that you're interested in, I really am loving talking to all of you on the phone. If you're interested in a pre-recorded reading, I do a lot of different kinds of packages. I do 3 questions, 1 question. I do 3-month, 6-month readings. Take a look there. Right now, there is a sale. That sale is only until midnight on the 12th. And that is that you will have if you want, you can book a $25 read, and that is 10 minutes or less. 1 question, no backstory. I'm for real about that. No backstory, friends. I'm not going to be reading through pages and pages of stuff. So if you want to give me 1 or 2 sentences about what your question is and why your question is, I just need your sun, moon, and rising. If you want to give that to me, and you will have that reading back in 48 hours. It's only on, this is a limited time offer, only on until midnight on the 12th of August, 2026. All right, let's get to it. Let's find out what's going on here. We're going to start with Aries, of course, leading us in, right? Tell me about Aries, my fire family, sun, moon, rising, Venus and Jupiter. This is a reading for the next 7 days, Aries. Let's find out what's going on with Aries. We do have the 6 of Wands. We have the Hierophant. We have the 10 of Cups, and we have the Devil energy. It feels like you really, really want the win, Aries. Feels like it's all you can think about. All you can think about is, how can I be the happiest emotional apex of happiness, right? That's what the 10 of Cups is. That's why you're here at 10 of Cups Tarot. How can I be the happiest? What can I do in my life that is going to make me happy, that is going to make me feel seen, that is going to make me, am I picking the right friends? Am I picking the right people to be in my life that are going to cheer me on as I come out of the darkest places in my life and try and get my victories? I feel like you're a person who makes commitments. So I don't feel like you're a person who just says, hey, look, I've got 2,000 people on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I think you are somebody who's very intentional. Maybe you're not, but I'm picking up on somebody who is. And I'm saying intentional because we've got Capricorn energy here. It feels like, I don't think that the devil is really representing something bad, but I think that sometimes you might overthink it, or this is a little bit of obsession. It almost feels like your obsession is, how can I be the happiest? How can I be seen? How can I pick the right people for my life? But because I feel like this is almost like I have a little bit of doubt or fear that maybe I'm not making the commitments in the right places. And that just means that, maybe it's time to scale back. But I think that you're kind of looking forward and saying, who really is in my corner and who's really not in my corner? Because I think you're about to come to some sort of a victory here, and you're hoping that when you do, that you're going to have your favorites cheering you on. We do have the 4 of Swords here. We have the 6 of Swords. And we have the Three of Cups. So I really do feel that there's something going on here. It feels like you're trying to heal from something. And it does feel that because you've been sort of like, it feels like maybe, and it could be in the past already, Aries, but it feels like you were in the fight of your life, or you came out of a really dark period in your life and are starting to feel better, starting to feel happier, starting to feel like, yeah, commitment doesn't scare me. It feels like now you're kind of, instead of being obsessed with negativity, which I don't know if you were or not, and it's hard not to be when you're in the dark night of the soul. I feel like you are now really sort of obsessed with what's good. You're looking for things that are good, happy, of good rapport, and I think that you're finding it. So I feel like this is part of the healing of you coming out of the dark night of the soul. It feels like you did finally move on from a dark place in your life, because the Six of Swords is here saying, I don't need this chaos anymore. I just have to let it go. And so I feel like either you're about to let someone go, something go, a situation, a job, and I think it's going to add more celebration. It's almost like you're going to celebrate finally releasing the things that no longer are serving you in your life, because I feel like they're actually trying to play in the face of people, or trying to pretend you like that person in a group of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have decided, I gotta just release all that. When I go to these social things, I'm just not really interested in being in people's faces and pretending I like them. I feel like I'm speaking to a really authentic Aries, or somebody who's got really authentic Aries energy, but I feel like you came out of a hard place. Feels like you were in that hard place by yourself, and when you came out of that dark night of the soul, or the hard situation or cycle you were in, that it's now time for you to be very intentional with who you're going to give your time, effort, and energy to. And the Six of Pentacles is that. Who am I going to give my intentional reciprocal energy to? I feel like you're sort of cleaning up the rough edges, is what it feels like, Aries. We've got the Knight of Swords, and we've got the Eight of Swords in the reverse. I feel like you're coming to conclusions, realizations that you no longer want to be wasting your time, your precious time. Look, time is precious, people. When we're young, we think we have all kinds of time, and then we get to a place in our lives where we have more time behind us than in front of us, and we realize how truly precious time really is. Time, effort, energy. Where am I putting my money? Where am I putting my intentional energy? The Knight of Swords shows up and says, it's time to just say what I'm going to say. And if, based on the words that you say to somebody, Aries, you're going to know whether they are your ride or die or not. And that's how we come to this place in our lives where we realize that we're just like dispersing our energy to everybody who really doesn't care about it. So now I think you were doing it not to rock the boat. Now I know you're just kind of a little bit of a natural pot stirrer, but I'm talking about those of you who are maybe an Aries and you maybe have some water in the rising, right? Maybe you're a person who will try and soften it a little bit. I don't think you're doing that anymore. I think you've come out of this place where you were locked in the mind about, oh, maybe I should watch my words. Maybe I shouldn't be that aggressive with my words. And I don't feel like you are aggressive, but I think you're going to aggressively start trimming. I'm seeing somebody like a gardener trimming, like making a bush flat on the top and weeding the flowers. And I feel like you're going to clean things up. That's what it feels like here. We've got the Five of Swords. Look, I feel like you're going to say what you mean and mean what you say. That's the Knight of Swords. Not the most articulate, but maybe you are more articulate. But this is Gemini energy, so articulate enough. I feel like it's time for you to be very honest and truthful about what your goals in life are. And I think that the Eight of Swords in the reverse is saying, that's what I'm going to tell the people that are around me. The people who are looking for genuine connection are going to get it, and the people who are going to be offended by my words can go away, because those aren't my people anyway. I feel like the ones that are left are the ones you're going to commit your happiness to, commit to being on their side while they're on your side, cheering them on while they cheer you on. I think that's what this next 7 days is about, really weeding the garden. That's what it feels like. The outcome here, we've got the Emperor. There you are. It's you taking control of a situation in order to bring restoration, balance. I feel it's like faith in justice, right? It feels like somebody here is like, look, I just need to stand up and be accountable for what I'm about to do. And I think that's why the Emperor shows up, because you're standing in your shoes saying, this is my empire. I get to decide who's in my empire. And I really do feel that you're trying to restore faith, your faith in people, by being very focused on the right ones instead of squandering your time with the ones that really don't care. We've got the Magician. Oh, I really love this outcome here because it says here, look, you're the Magician. You're the one with all the resources and the tools and all the aces up your sleeve. You're the person who's creating your own reality. Nobody else is. And so I feel like you are taking hold of it to conquer it, it feels like almost like conquering some sort of justice. It's time for me to get my justice. I need to get things even and balanced and harmonious in my life. And I'm not giving out attention like candy anymore. I'm only giving it to the people who really deserve it because they're on my side as much as I'm on theirs. What's around the corner? We've got the Seven of Swords. Yep, there it is, man. You're letting go of the liars, the cheaters, the people who have underhanded ideas, the people who don't necessarily lie to you in your face, Aries, because you'd probably scan them and figure it out. But you are somebody who is not necessarily... these aren't necessarily people who will lie to you outright, but they are people who would not necessarily tell you the truth. I think those are the people that you are releasing. You know, a lot of people might say, oh, Aries, you're being a little harsh, aren't you? Nah, brah, no, get to it. Make your decisions. You've been stuck in this situation for way too long, whoever you are. We've got the Nine of Wands. People who did not come to help you out in your time of need. I think those are the ones that you have realized are just not worth it. I don't want to bond with those people. I am not interested in calling them soulmates. Other people might be pissed off with you because you no longer are talking to the person from high school. But who cares, man? Who cares? And I think you've got a lot to go through here. A lot of people, I mean. I feel like you're cutting out a lot. I think you're cleaning up the yard and deciding who deserves a place in the yard, right? We have, excuse me, Sagittarius. We've got Aries. We've got Gemini. We've got, I'm going to say Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra because we do have a lot of air here. We do have Cancer and Capricorn. We have Pisces and Taurus. Yeah, you're standing your ground, friend. Building up the structure stronger. And I think that's what you're doing here. We've got Gemini and Aries here, Libra. We've got Aries in the form of the Emperor, and we have Leo energy. So I feel like you are, if not doing that the next week, you are doing this within Leo season, which ends around the 22nd, I believe, of the month. All right, Taurus, my bull gang, how you doing, friends? Thanks so much for stopping here, not shopping here, but stopping here. Thanks for your clicks, views. Thanks for the way you love me. Let's find out what's going on here for Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter for the next 7 days. What might be coming up for Taurus Collective? We've got the Eight of Cups. What's going down here? It feels like you're detaching a little bit here. I feel like you're not taking every opportunity that shows up. It feels like you are turning your back on some sort of an opportunity. Look, it's a little one. It might be an invitation, an invite to go somewhere, be with people, do things. But it feels like with this Page of Pentacles here, that you do see the value in the offer. So I think that it might be from someone that you do value in your friendship group or in your family. But I think you need to detach for a little bit. That's what it feels like. Need to detach a little bit from it. We've got the Two of Wands. Yeah, I think there's too many last minute invitations coming up, and I don't think it's last minute because they've forgotten you, Taurus. I think it's last minute because, in the summertime in most places, unless you're on the other side of the world from me, I'm in Canada, right? Most things do happen last minute cookout, right? Last minute, let's go to the beach. Sometimes it's a last minute plan. But I think that right now, Taurus, you're in this energy of kind of detaching from that. And although that you see the value, I think that the people who are giving you these opportunities to join them on the fly, I feel like are people that mean something to you because the Page is here, the Page of Pentacles. We do have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, I just feel like you need some quiet time, friend. That's what it feels like. It feels as though you need to detach. Maybe you're coming off a very social time. It could be that. And maybe you just need some time for yourself. Feels like you really need to cut out the things that, when a lot of things come up, maybe it's a lot of weddings, maybe it's a lot of cookouts, maybe it's a lot of things you're doing in the summer, and you've got to really pick and choose because life has to go on. I have always surprised about people who can go to work, go to a social thing, go to work, go to a social thing. because, yeah, I'm the person who needs a little bit of time out. We've got the Queen of Cups here. This feels like self-care. I'm going to say this Eight of Cups and the Queen of Cups feels like self-care. We've got the Knight of Cups here. And we've got the Five of Wands. Yeah, it does feel like a battle of feelings or how you feel about something. It also feels as though, you know, you don't, like I would say, you don't have to go to you don't have to believe every thought that shows up, right? You also don't have to go to every fight you're provoked to get into. But this more feels like I don't necessarily have to, I'm not necessarily ready to go into a group of people where I've got to really compete for attention, compete for deep conversation. I was just out last night and it was quite loud there and it was a really wonderful place to be. But when we're having really deep conversations or you find somebody who you really want to get to know better, it's kind of hard to get to know them better in a loud situation. So we went into another room, right? It feels like this. It feels as though that there is, I think in the next 7 days, you're more concerned with yourself, your heart space, and being kinder to you, detaching from, you know, it feels like people want you around, but I feel like this Five of Wands tells me that there's like competition for attention, competition for communication, competition for really having heart-to-hearts. And I don't think you're into that right now. We've got the Five of Cups. You may not be telling someone that something's really heavy on your heart. It could be that because with the King of Cups showing up and the Ace of Swords in the reverse, it tells me someone doesn't want to talk about it. My back's turned. I don't really want to talk about it. So Taurus, you could be detaching to try and digest something very deeply emotional that you're going through right now. It feels with this Five of Cups that there's some sort of, maybe you have a little bit of regret that you have to turn away, but I think that you want this time for yourself to take care of you, to try and digest something, some news possibly that came at you really quickly with the Two of Wands in the reverse. It does feel like somebody here, and I don't think it's anything troubling. I don't see that because I see a bunch of cups, but I also see the King of Cups as the one who is stoic. And I feel like maybe you go into the social space, but it's not like you don't want to be there. It's that you got so much on your mind or on your plate, or you got so much going on in your life right now that you just really can't give anybody your emotional energy. It feels like you go into this. If you go, you're gonna have to go in stoic, is what I'm trying to say. Because I don't think you feel like talking about it, but I also don't feel like you're super sad. I feel like you're just not emotionally into it because it does take a lot of emotional energy. For those of you who have a little bit of psychic energy, you know what I mean, right? This is all cups. This is Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. You guys all know that if you have prominent placements there, you go into a social space and it all sticks to you. Everybody's energy sticks to you because you see the things that other people don't see. You feel the things that other people don't feel. So we've got the Empress here. Yeah, I really do feel like somebody here needs to do, or feels like, I don't think that you need to do it. I think you feel like you need to do it. Regain your stability. Regain feeling better. It feels like you're low on energy, low on emotional energy. Maybe you've given out a lot of emotional energy. It feels like this here with the Empress energy. It feels like I need to be alone for a bit. I need to make my own choices about what I'm going to do. I can't keep my calendar full every single day of the week like some people can. The Knight of Wands is in the reverse. So I feel like, yeah, you don't want to be seen. It feels like I don't want to be in a group of people who are cheering rah rah this, rah rah that. It's not that you're antisocial, Taurus, but I really do feel that maybe you've given a lot of emotional energy to something. It feels like you've had some heart-to-heart conversations with people. Maybe that's what you're into right now, is if I'm going to visit with someone, I just want to do it over a cup of coffee, one person, or a cup of tea, a really deep conversation. And if you can't have that, I think that you're just not interested in it. Let's see what the outcome is here. We've got the Ten of Pentacles. The Empress is here, and the Ten of Pentacles could mean you have a lot of work to do, like a lot of things on your plate that take precedent, because these are things of value. And it's not like emotional connection isn't of value, but it tells me here that you're turning your back on it because you don't want to talk about something. So it feels like maybe you bury yourself in work, possibly. I also think that you see the value in keeping your stability, and that's why the Empress is who the Empress is, because that person will protect their emotional energy. Queen of Cups is here, and on her own, she is somebody who can get very emotionally depleted. But, you know, when she's the Empress also is the Queen of Wands, which teaches this queen, drink from your own cup before you give others. So I feel like you're really looking at things that maybe you're in the midst of building something, or you're in the midst of learning something new. The Three of Pentacles is here. It feels like you want practical conversation. You don't want to have to be screaming over other people. And so we have the Nine of Swords and we have the Knight of Pentacles. There's always that risk, right, of slowing down, moving slower than everybody else, that maybe they won't invite you to the next thing. I've got the Nine of Swords here. It's a little bit of worry. You might be worrying about money. You might be worrying about what your next step is for your career. You might be worrying, should I take this course? Is it worth putting money into this? Should I sell this thing, buy that thing? Like, it feels like somebody here is making a lot of really important decisions in their 3D world. It could be about work. Where am I going to work? Am I going to take on extra hours? If you're someone who has a business, I'm just saying that because the Nine of Pentacles is here. You're someone who has a business. Maybe you need to work, right? So I feel like you're just managing your time. But I feel like you've been working a lot and maybe giving people a lot of your emotional energy, because the Queen is willing to give everybody kindness, compassion, and love. I think it's time for you to reel it in or pull it back, because the King of Cups is here next to the Empress. I need to get my emotional stability back. Tell me what's around the corner for Taurus. We've got the Moon energy. We've got the King of Pentacles. Yeah, it does feel like that. Feels like somebody possibly might be making decisions between reconnecting with people and really taking care of my kingdom, right? The King of Pentacles is here. Got my eye on this, got my eye on that. I'm really coordinating things. Maybe you're looking at allocating money places. It feels like 3D things are taking precedent right now. And I feel like you have to be in the best state of mind, the best energy level, in order to be able to continue to allocate money to the right places, or save money, or maybe it's your time or your efforts, right? Because those are the commodities. Like, money, yes, will give you some freedom that you don't have to work tomorrow or the next day, but it doesn't matter how much money you have. The commodity is time, effort, and energy, right? So the Moon energy is here, and I think that the Moon energy is saying things aren't as they seem. I don't really not want to be social, but I really have to take care of things that take care of me, or I have to look at what really has the spotlight on it, right? So I feel like you are maybe repairing yourself financially at this time. Maybe you're just holding back because every time I leave the damn house, it costs $100, right? It feels like somebody here is possibly needing to take time out from being in the noisy environment, or, you know, I was saying the competing with other people for emotional space. It feels like the spotlight would be on you, and you're not into having all these people around you right now. And I don't think it's because you don't want to. I think it's because you are realizing that you are changing. You're changing and transforming. And I think that your priority, or you're really looking at whatever means something to you, whatever the commodity is for you, right? For me, I'm always going to say no to a social thing so I can spend some time with my son. It really does depend what your commodity is. I think that's the value here. And rather than connecting with people in a very loud social situation where you have to, compete for attention, I feel like you would rather just be in your King of Pentacles energy and just take care of what really matters to you the most, Taurus. All right. We've got Leo. I think you'll be like that for the rest of Leo season, honestly. Really just kind of looking at where you want to put your time, effort, and energy. We do have... we have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, this is the energy that is... Oh, it came out in the reverse here. So it feels like this is... Yeah, you're slowing down. It really does feel like that. We've got... Sagittarius energy, and then we have Taurus and Libra. We have Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. We have more Taurus energy, more Scorpio energy, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I think I said that already. And we've got some air energy here. We've got some Aquarian energy here. lots of water. Pisces, Scorpio, yeah, lots of emotional energy here that you've been spending. Maybe you're overdrawn in your emotional energy. Yeah, could be that. All right. Tell me about Gemini. Let's talk about Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter, Gemini for the next 7 days. Tell me about Gemini. We have the devil energy. We have the sun. Oh, you're seeing something for what it really is, my friend. I feel like you're trying to heal, and in the healing process, you're beginning to see people, places, things, situations, jobs, whatever it is, you're beginning to see things for what they truly are. I really feel there's somebody here who is thinking about what distracts me, what takes my time away from myself or from the things I really love or the things I really want to do. What distracts me? That's what it feels like, because the devil can distract you, right? It's all those things that distract us, the doom scrolling, all of that stuff. But the sun is here and it's on the devil. That was the first card that I put down after the devil. It feels to me like you would rather heal yourself from being distracted, and that's what would make you the happiest. Temperance is here. It's like it's the alchemizing of energy, right? It's everything coming together at the right time, and it feels like you're realizing that maybe some of the ways you're spending your time is not necessarily conducive to your happiness, but maybe you spend your time doing some of these things to not feel the 9 of Wands, to not feel burnt out. Like for me, I know sometimes when I am offline, which isn't very often, sometimes I will just sit there and doom scroll or watch a TV show while I'm doing some diamond painting, like anything to just shut my brain off. And that's what this feels like here. It feels like you are starting to realize that that there are some things that are taking time away from what is really important to you. And it might be just the general trying to let your brain rest kind of stuff. It feels like you're having some sort of a realization about temperance. I really need to heal this devil energy because I'm doing something repetitively over and over and over again, which isn't necessarily giving me more energy. It's making me feel more burnt out. It's making me feel like I'm sort of over it. Like it feels like you really are realizing that maybe you're not really spending your downtime in a constructive way. We've got the Emperor here. We've got the Judgment card. Yeah, it's about making decisions and taking control of the situation here. The Judgment card shows up. It feels like this thought pattern or this feeling has shown up for you before. It keeps revisiting you, I would say. The Emperor is here saying, come on, Gemini, take control of the situation and figure out what you can do in order to be able to heal yourself the best. Because temperance is here, and we should always take advantage of when temperance is in the room, because this is the healing, this is the confidence of feeling contentment, being content by yourself. And it sometimes people's mind, like yours, Gemini, you're always thinking about something. So I feel like it's for you, it's sort of fighting about how to take control of the mind, because this keeps coming up that it feels like you're overthinking or thinking a lot, or feel like you're always like trying to figure out a problem. I feel the Knight of Cups is here. And so I think that this the fact that I feel that the devil I feel here might be an illusion. I'm just going to say the Knight of Cups being here. When the Knight of Cups is in the upright, for me, it's like fantasy, it's illusion, it's wandering, meandering, not really accounting for time, sort of being up in your dreamy energy. And so I think that this is how you're trying to, you might be a very busy person who thinks a lot, who uses their brain to troubleshoot everything, everyone, answer questions. And I feel like you're just trying to find the best way to let your mind rest here. And I think that the Knight of Cups is, sometimes I just need to let my emotions overtake me and just meander. But I feel like the situation keeps arising, and the universe is asking you to please take charge of that, because I feel like maybe after the devil makes you feel like maybe you weren't as productive as you should have been, or makes you feel lazy, and I don't think it's any of that. I just think that you needed a way to to stop thinking. And I think that the Three of Cups might be your answer. Getting together with friends, going out and being social, instead of just sitting there and doom scrolling, or doing something that you're trying to control your brain with. That could be anything, really. I feel like getting out, being social, seeing other people, I think is probably a way to heal. It's a hard decision for you to make, though, because I feel like right now you might be overwhelmed with decision-making processes. You might be overwhelmed with feelings or emotions. Maybe you just don't want to see people when you're feeling that way. The Seven of Cups is telling me that there is something that you need to decide on letting go of. This particular Seven Cups makes me feel like that because the full moon is here. Full moons are always about closure, release, letting something go. And I feel like you're trying to let something go that is quite emotional or overwhelming. It doesn't have to be like romantic things. It can be like maybe you're overwhelmed with a thought pattern you can't get rid of. The Two of Swords is here. It feels like you've got some sort of mental block going on, and it feels like now that the sun is out, she doesn't have the blindfold on. The person on the Two of Swords usually does, but she doesn't have the blindfold on. I think you're finally seeing something for what it is here, and that is that maybe you usually take time out away from work or whatever by yourself, but maybe that's not the best way to do it. Maybe reconnecting with people is the best way to do it, just so they can give you something different to think about. We've got the King of Pentacles. I think you hold down a lot, Gemini. It makes me feel like you are the person who is taking care of it all. You're funding the kingdom. You might be taking care of other people. Feels like you probably have a job that requires a lot of time, effort, or energy. It feels like you're a decision maker. You're overwhelmed with the 3D world. So it makes me feel like maybe you're putting in overtime, or when you know that the grass needs to be done and you got to clean out the basement, and like it feels like you've got a lot on your plate right now and you're holding all of it down. So I'm going to say it's time to get out. Get out, see some friends, remove that block that you have here, and it'll allow you even temporarily to just release some of the overwhelm you're feeling in the 3D world. So I feel like you're really starting to see that possibly, because this is what's revealed to you, that if you do want to heal, that maybe doing the same thing repetitively over and over, hoping for a different result, might not be the way to go. I feel like you have to take charge of that, because this keeps coming up for you. We've got the Lovers here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and we've got the King of Swords. Slowing down the mind. Yeah, I really feel like you're overthinking, thinking about a lot of things. It feels like, overthinking doesn't have to mean that you can't find the answer. It could mean that you're looking for you think about the situation and think, oh, that's not right. If I say this, they'll say that. If I do that, they'll do this. It feels like you're playing chess in your head all of the time. And I think you need to choose to slow down the mind. Because I feel like you're constantly thinking about details. Like it feels like it has to do with work or something that's in the 3D. It feels like your plate is full, you carry a lot, and it's time for you to just detach, let go, and go out and have some fun with some friends. Tell me what the outcome is, or what's going around the corner is the moon energy, the High Priestess, and the Five of Pentacles. I think that your soul is tired. That's what it feels like. The High Priestess is here. It feels like intuitively, you know that you're feeling a little bit in lack. You might be worrying about money. You might be worrying about things that are in the 3D right now. The moon energy is here. It feels like something is unsure. It's almost like not even my intuition is giving me answers right now. The moon is, illusion. I would say that it feels like this High Priestess energy is you it feels like suffering in silence to me. And I don't think that you really have to, Gemini. I feel like you might have people around you who really love your time. And it's not like you have to go out to a big party. You can just get one person to a tea party or go out and have coffee, or you know what I mean? Like it feels like you just really need to detach from the kingdom. Because it feels like if you work at home, right, you're constantly in the kingdom. You can't detach unless you leave the house. That's what it feels like here. So I think that you're suffering in silence a little bit here, feeling like I'm not really sure what to do about it, but I feel like you're supposed to detach, go out, have a little bit of fun. Eight of Swords says, get out of your head. Yes, that's what it is. I feel like you're the person who makes big decisions for a corporation, or even just for your house, your home. Maybe you're carrying it all. You don't have a partner who can pick up the slack, or you don't have somebody living at home, like a child or someone who can pick up the slack and you're taking care of it all. Yeah, I feel like you're coming to a realization here that you're working too much. Look at that, 8 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. Yeah, it's time for you to be a little bit more aggressive about your healing, my friend, because the Knight of Swords is here with the 4 of Swords. And that feels like 5 of Swords, you're stuck in your head in lack. So it feels like you have to do a little bit more, be more compassionate with yourself, the Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Excuse me. All right. We do have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Pisces. We have Libra, Taurus, more Pisces. We have Cancer, and Pisces. Again, your intuition is telling you to do it. We've got Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. We've got Virgo. We've got Piscean energy and Gemini. We've got Capricorn, Virgo, and Pisces. And we've got Aries, who is the Emperor here. All right. Let's take a look at you, Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Let's find out what's going on with Cancer for the next 7 days. Cancer, I think at some point Mars is showing up in your sign, which might be a little bit frustrating for you to make decisions, make clear decisions. You know, water slows down fire, and Mars is kind of a fiery planet, right? So I feel like you're going to feel like you're walking through a little bit of mud or tar. Charlie's showing me somebody with getting their rubber boot stuck and pulling their foot out of their rubber boot. That's what it feels like. Feels like you're going to be feeling stuck shortly. Let's talk about you, Cancer. We've got the Empress. The Empress is always prepared. So I would say maybe I was supposed to say that to you, so you're just prepared. So when it shows up that you're not waiting for something to change. Maybe you might want to, if you are somebody who's with that likes to know about astrology, you might want to see your favorite astrologer on the platform here. But the 7 of Pentacles tells me that it's time for you to be very intentional about your growth, your emotional growth, your fiery growth. It's the abundant growth. It feels like there is a growth period that's about to slow down and make you very patient. That's what it feels like here. So I feel like you're already in the Empress energy, which is great, whether you're the man or the woman, whether you're the feminine or the masculine. But I feel like something's about to really slow down, and that's how I was feeling about Mars being in Cancer. They don't really like each other, right? They're very, very opposite. So 7 of Pentacles tells me that you need to be more intentional with what you're doing, what you're growing, that things are going to grow slower. Things might be moving slower. We've got the 4 of Cups. You might feel like you're in a little bit of a stagnant energy at this time. Yeah, this is all about moving really slow, right? So the Knight of Pentacles. And I really do feel like that the Knight of Pentacles being slow is really about just being present in your life. So maybe Mars showing up in Cancer for some of you is just going to make you really notice the flowers, notice the trees, like really make you present within your life, because it's going to slow everything down for you just a little bit. And that might be frustrating if you do have fire energy, right? If you have a lot of present fire energy in your chart, it could be a little bit frustrating. Some of you might just welcome the slowdown, but it's meant to make you present in the moment, I feel. Tell me about this Empress. We have the Queen of Swords. Oh, it might make you a little bit frustrated in terms of your words too, how you're expressing yourself verbally and mentally. We've got the Strength card, and we've got the 8 of Pentacles. So it does feel like I'm going to say that it feels like a little bit of frustration that could arise, because I feel like you're holding back your words. Yeah, it feels like you're holding back your words, holding back your thought process. Maybe you can't really think clearly. It feels like you are really trying to be kind with your words by holding back just a little bit. Maybe you're feeling a little less sharp than usual. Maybe you're like, I'm thinking underwater, like, you know what I mean? Slow, maybe hard to see things, is kind of blurry underwater, right? So we've got the 8 of Pentacles, and this might be in the area of work. This might be, time, effort, energy, money. This might be your workplace or your career. Maybe business slows down, takes a slowdown for a little bit. It really does feel like everything here is meant not for frustration, but to really slow you down, to make you pay attention to the journey rather than the outcome. We're all of us looking at the outcome. All of us are looking in the future and saying, when retirement comes, when I have enough money in the bank, when I have enough saved for the down payment on the house. We're all looking into the future. But I really do feel that coming up for you in the next 7 days, that things are going to slow down just a little bit. And for some of you, like I said, who have fire, or air, that might make it hard to make decisions, or it might just slow things down to a little bit of a frustration. Some of you might, with this Eight of Pentacles, this can be at school, right? Maybe you're at school learning something, or you're trying to perfect something, get a degree or something like that. We've got the Magician. So the Magician shows up and always reminds you the ball's in your court. You can react or respond, right? And it's totally up to you, but the Magician can do whatever they want at the time they want to do it. You've got all the aces up your sleeve, friend. You're the one pulling rabbits out of the hat. Okay, so you're the one that is creating your reality, right? The Three of Pentacles is here. Again, 3D stuff is moving really slow, but I feel like it does feel like you are making... It feels like you're growing something. I feel like somebody might be wanting to build a house or making plans to grow something or build something. It looks like, excuse me, in my mind, it's blueprints. It feels like something here that possibly you might call someone in to help you with, someone who knows about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. It feels like partnership, that you have the formula. You know that what you want to do because you're creating your own reality, but it feels like you need a partnership with somebody who can collaborate with you in order to help push a build on something. It feels like something is building. We've got the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords is you're stuck on one thought process. So I really do feel like for some of you who are very cerebral, so you might have a lot of air energy, along with your Cancerian energy, is that this feels like we're sort of stuck in the mind. I'm at a halt. I can't find the answer. So I'm going to call somebody in to help me. That's what it feels like here. We've got the Ace of Cups. Yeah, there's a lot of water going on here. You might be feeling slow emotionally. I feel like you're trying to accomplish something that is going to be overflowing and happy and emotionally happy for you. But it almost feels like you have to stop to look at the blueprints. You're excited to get the finished product done, but you have to stop to look at the blueprints, which slows everything down. You might have to call in an expert who can read blueprints. Do you know what I mean? So it feels like your projects are moving a little bit slower. You know what you want. You know the ball's in your court, but it might be a little bit frustrating, feeling like your hands are tied, or I can't really come up with the answer. I just keep coming back to the same thing over and over again. I'm going to call somebody in who can sort of organize my thought pattern, possibly help me out with making a decision, because I feel like this, the Strength card is giving me a hold back and be courageous about it, because I feel like watching your words at this time would be good. I'm not telling you have to watch your words. I'm just saying that it feels like you're working on something really important, and it feels like you're holding back your words because it feels like a little bit of frustrating energy. We've got the Page of Pentacles, we've got the Ace of Swords, and we've got the Temperance card. So I do feel like, this is I don't really even know how long Mars is going to be in Cancer, but it feels like it's probably temporary, I'm just going to say, because Temperance is here with the Ace of Swords. You'll become sharp again. You'll become able to make decisions, sign contracts, all that kind of stuff, because healing of the mind is here, also healing of the words, opportunity showing up at just the right time, I would say, because the Ace of Swords is here. Somebody's going to call you with an opportunity that I feel might either help you with this. It might be somebody who is a friend or a friend of a friend, somebody who you can collaborate with until you can finally get back on your own here. Feels like things are going to be a little bit topsy-turvy for a little bit. You can see this King of Cups is the one that always is stable in the storm. So I'm going to say that it might feel like that you are spending most of your energetic time trying to stay balanced, right? Libra is here, trying to stay balanced in your word, balanced with your thought patterns, balanced in holding back. I feel like getting ahead on this Empress energy right now would be the best. Make sure you've got a lot of stability. Make sure your money's good. Make sure if you have to take time off, you can do it. Like, it feels like somebody here, this Empress energy is saying, look, you're abundant and you're stable, but make sure you are before this energy comes up for you that where you feel a little bit stuck. The Hermit is here, and we've got the Tower and the Moon energy. Very interesting, these energies, because these are both places that are kind of dark for different reasons, but kind of dark. So the Hermit tells me that maybe this is going to have to take you outside of a comfort zone, or something happens that is going to pull you out of your Hermit energy. Look, I know how much you love your Hermit energy because you're the Taurus of the water signs and I'm a Taurus. Yeah, I know that you love your time alone, but it almost feels like a time of putting out fires, but feeling like you're walking through mud to do it. Do you know what I mean? So the Moon energy is here. Things are uncertain. Projects are unfinished. It feels like you get some sort of a fire or a realization, or something happens you're not expecting, and you got to pull yourself out of Hermit energy in order to put out the fire. It does feel like it is something that is temporary, so I think it's going to heal itself. Yeah, you will get your justice. This isn't anything that's major. I don't think this is a major tower. I think you're realizing something that shows up that you're not expecting. It may even be justice. You might get justice in something. And when I think of justice in the Moon, something you thought wasn't going to work out works out. Your faith is restored in something. So it does feel like, because you feel as though things aren't moving as quickly, or you're frustrated with the way things are moving, it feels like it's going to be temporary, but you are going to have to be pulled out of your Hermit energy once in a while to deal with crap that sets itself on fire. You're going to be putting out little fires all over the place, it feels like, for the next 7 days. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles, we've got the Six of Wands, and we've got the Emperor. Yeah. It does feel like somebody goes into a very busy place to have to put out some sort of a fire and ground everybody. Like, not you're grounded, but you know what I mean, right? The Queen of Pentacles is here. It always makes it better for everybody else. I feel like you're in your Emperor energy, and you feel like you've got the pokers are in every fire. That's what it feels like here. The Emperor is somebody who carries a lot, and I feel like you're carrying a lot at this time, and it feels like it's rather, I'm going to say, loud. It feels like you can't get the spotlight off you. Everybody's bothering you, and you're trying to do your best while walking through the mud. Queen of Pentacles is here. I feel like financially through this period you stay pretty solid, but I feel like there is things that pop up surprisingly, right? So the Tower is here. Illusions are falling to the ground, but I feel like they're like these little fires you need to put out that aren't really catastrophic, but it feels like they're surprising you and they're irritating as they show up. All right. We've got the Emperor on the bottom of the deck, Aries. So we've got Libra. We've got Capricorn and Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Gemini, Aries, Virgo, more Virgo. We've got Leo energy, Cancer energy here. We've got Taurus and Libra energy. It's your thought process that might get you out of this place where you feel a little bit stuck. Virgo energy. We have Sagittarius energy, Libra again, and we've got Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy here. All right. Let's talk about the birthday kids. How you doing, Leo? Happy birthday to your friends. Let's find out what's going on for you in the next 7 days. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs. Tell me when your birthday is. I want to know. Let me say happy birthday to you. Let's find out what's going on with Leo. Tell me about Leo. We've got the Ace of Swords. What's going on here? We've got the Eight of Cups. You made a decision to walk away from something. Feels like something has become clear to you. That there is something, someone, a situation, whatever it is, a job, it could be. Feels like you've come to an epiphany. A realization or a moment of clarity that there's something here that's not necessarily serving me anymore. Feels like you're detaching. Oh, Knight of Swords. Let's find out what else is going on here. The Chariot. It does feel like you You've decided that you need to aggressively push forward to get some type of a victory. But in order to be able to do that, Leo, you're going to have to disconnect or detach from something that isn't as important. I think that you have to pick a priority, is what it feels like. Because this priority means a lot to you. I feel like with the Chariot here, this is, I always see this one as hurry up and wait. But I feel like it feels like there's a discipline that you really need to focus on. And I feel like with the Knight of Swords, this is something that's coming at you quickly that you really need to be very sharp in order to engage with it, in order to get the victory that you want. I feel like whatever this is coming at you really quick, and you've got to be very clear and ready to make some sort of decision to detach from things that aren't necessarily as important as this in your life right now. You may not be departing here for forever, but it might be that right now is a time of swords for you. It might be I need to detach from my emotions to make some really tough decisions because I've had some sort of sharp epiphany or realization that something is coming at me really aggressively. And if I want the victory, I got to be hitting the ground running. That's what it feels like here. Tell me about the Ace of Swords. We do have the Two of Cups. We have the Two of Wands. We're making decisions here. Making decisions to possibly come outside of a place where you have built a lot of boundaries. You might have to cross your own boundaries in order to feel like you are getting the victory in something that is showing up really quickly. We do have the Two of Cups and the Two of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands is having a plan, but not necessarily actioning that plan because you feel kind of stuck. You're not really sure if the plan is going to work. We've got 7 and 2 Wands, which is 9. Feels like you've tried something before that didn't work. The Two of Cups is here, and the Two of Cups that's possibly giving someone your intimate attention. It does feel like something that if you want it, you got to go get it right now, but you've got to detach from something else, detach from your feelings in order to be able to assess the Two of Cups. So it feels like you have a plan. I think you're going in with a plan, but it's going to be outside of your boundary or what you usually would accept about going outside of your boundary. It feels like you're making an exception for something because you feel very deeply about it. Now, the Two of Cups can be emotional, romantic things. It can be, but it's not that. Like this Two of Cups can be that, but I feel like somebody here is deciding it's important enough, whatever the Two of Cups is, it's really important enough for me to go at it now, make a decision, remove the block and go. Stop blocking myself from the thing that I have already planned. It feels like it's something that if you don't get at it right now, it might be gone. We've got the 10 of Wands here. So I feel like you're carrying some sort of a burden about not taking action because you've seen the clarity of something. It feels like you realize that this whole thing is really weighing you down and it's time for you to take action here, Aries, right? It's time for you to take action on the plan that you've been hiding behind the boundaries with. Tell me more. Tell me more about Leo, please. We've got the 10 of Cups, we've got the Queen of Cups, and we've got the 4 of Wands. Okay, well, there's the issue. I feel like you are going to have to, you're trying to detach from your emotions in order to make an emotional decision. I don't know how well that's going to go down, but maybe you're the expert at it. Maybe you can tell me. But it feels like with the 10 of Cups here, it feels like the thing that you need to get on right now is going to bring you ultimate happiness as you see it. It's going to bring you to a place where you're emotionally really happy. The Queen of Cups is here. It might have to do with your mother, your father. It could have to do with deep feelings that you have for someone or how deeply you feel about something. We do have the 4 of Wands here. I think you're trying to steady your emotions. I think it's really important for you to have the 10 of Cups victory. That's what it feels like, that it's really important to you that you get the victory in the 10 of Cups. And I feel like you've come to an epiphany or a realization, I'm going to make this decision and detach from anything that is not this. Because if I don't go outside my comfort zone to get this, I may lose it. I may lose it forever. And I think the Ten of Cups is a place where you really want to be joyful, happy that you did it. We've got the Page of Cups. You know what it feels like? It feels like you've been thinking about this for a while. With the Ace of Swords, it feels like you have been thinking about it for a while, but I think there's a moment in the next 7 days for some of you where somebody realizes, oh shit, I'm late. I gotta go. Like, it feels like you're late for a date, or you're late for something that is very pressing, that you know if you don't make the date in time, I don't mean like it could be a date. If you don't make time to put this thing at the front of the line of all the things you need to accomplish, that you're going to lose this thing. And I think this thing has a lot of emotional value to you. I think that you see the value in it. So it could be a deep emotion you have for someone. You're trying to steady your emotions. I think you might surprise someone by telling them that maybe this is, we need to get to know each other better. Can we deepen our connection? Can we deepen our bond? Can we share some things? It feels like there's a plan that you've had under the surface that makes you a little bit scared that it might not work out right, because I feel like you've been hurt before. So we've got the 7 and the 2, which is 9, but it does feel like you're trying your hardest. Like, I'm just looking at this guy with, the strength, the tattoos, right? You're trying your hardest to get out of your comfort zone, or this, these boundaries. I feel like you're going to have to hop your own boundaries in order to get what you want. Tell me what the outcome is. We've got the Strength card. We've got the King of Cups. And we've got the 6 of Cups. I'm just going to say I'm not really sure what's going on here. Because as I'm reading the symbolism of the cards, it makes me feel like you're trying to deal with emotional things without being emotional. Or you are trying to deal with something that means so much to you emotionally, the depth of it, the happiness of it, seems emotional happiness, but you're dealing with it in the King of Cups kind of energy. The Strength card is here, and that is courage to me. You're holding back your emotions. So I don't know if you're trying to accomplish an emotional connection by being stoic, but it feels like the opposites. Maybe opposites are attracting. It feels like you want to move forward to the happiness part, but you just don't want to have to go through all the crap of showing your feelings, being emotional, that kind of thing. Yeah, there's something under the surface here. I really do feel like there is something that you see the value in choosing. The Death card is here. You're going to have to transform, though. I think that, you know what it is? I feel like you're not necessarily not being emotional. I think that you're holding back emotions a little bit, because this feels like it could be something that means a lot to you, or it feels like it could be pulling back memories from the past, reminiscent of something from the past where you were hurt before. But it feels like with transformation here, we've got the Death card and the King of Wands, your energy here. What you're trying to do is not necessarily run at this thing. I think you're trying to change. You don't want to, you want to pursue it, but you don't want to be so heavy into your fire energy that it scares off whatever you're pursuing. So I think you're trying to do it emotionally, but trying to pull back your emotions a little bit. You don't want to do it too emotionally either. Feels like you are either holding feelings under the surface for somebody here. It does feel like you want to move forward, but only, I think you want to know the outcome first. You're like, tell me, Elsie, is this 10 cups or not? Am I spending my time doing this for nothing? But it feels like somebody's like, oh, I got to go now. Like you wake up one day and you're like, oh God, I better do this right now. We've got the 5 of Cups, we've got the Knight of Wands, and we've got the 3 of Wands. I feel it, friend. If you don't go get it now, I feel like you'll regret it. Whatever it is that I'm talking about. It could be a person, it could be a relationship, it could be a job. It feels like if you don't go get it right now, feels like you're going to have to wait for some time for it to show back up around again, if it is your destiny. Because the 3 of Wands is here looking into the future. So it feels like in the future, maybe in the next 7 days, but maybe in the next 3 weeks. Wands are weeks to me. It feels like you'll be, yeah, the 6 of Wands is here. You can have the victory, friend, but I think you got to get on it. Because the Knight of Wands is here taking risks. Feels like you got to go after it if that's what you want. Just going to put one more card down here. King of Pentacles. It might be a job, or maybe putting a bid in on a house. It feels like it could be a big purchase, but it also could be something that pays out really well. So I feel like you need to answer them very soon and very clearly. Because if you want that victory, it's coming up quick. And I feel as though if this is what's going to give you your 10 of Cups feeling about it, emotional happiness, apex of happiness or joy, that something here is going to come up and you're going to realize, oh crap, I better get going on that thing. All right. We've got Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. Oops. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. One second. All right. There we go. All right. So we've got Aries energy. We've got Sagittarius energy. We've got Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. More Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. And we have the King and the Queen here. We have Aries energy, more Cancer. Something here is like you're trying to avoid your feelings over something here. Pisces energy. And then we've got a couple of cards that are air, right? So Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. All right. All right, Virgo. Let's find out what's going on for you. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Virgo. In the next 7 days, tell me about Virgo. Oh, nice. Okay, we've got the sun showing up. You're having some sort of a breakthrough, it looks like. Something that's going to be realized. Tell me what's going on here. Revealed, possibly. 3 of Swords. Strength card. And the full moon. Interesting. Okay. So I believe we have a new moon coming up, but there is a full moon at the end of the month in Pisces. I think that it is... Yeah, I could be wrong. So you can correct me if you want, but I think it's a full eclipse, I believe. Nonetheless, it does feel like there's going to be a realization coming up on the full moon for you. It feels like that you're having the courage to see, you're realizing that something here is not serving you. The 3 of Swords could be frustration. It could be hanging out and there's a third party going on. Maybe it's something that you need to see because the sun is out, but it feels like it could be frustrating, heartbreaking. You're realizing that there's something going on around you or in your life or something that the realization is this is just ending in heartbreak. So I feel like you're finding the courage to see that. You might be releasing it under the full moon. This card is specific to this deck. It's the Wandering Moon Tarot. This full moon, there is one coming up at the end of the month. And like I said, I think it's in Pisces. So this could be happening in the next 7 days for you. You might be having this realization that there's something going on in your life that's not working for you. It either is frustrating, heartbreaking. It's something that is just not working for you. And you're trying to find the courage to keep plodding forward, keep going forward. It might be by the end of the month that you decide that this breakthrough you've had about it not working for you might be something you might want to release. Full moons are about releasing the ends of things, right? We've got the 5 of Cups. Moons are cups in this deck. We've got the 7 of Cups. And we've got the Page of Pentacles. It does feel like, I'm just going to say somebody here, I feel like you're going to get some sort of message from somebody here. A message in the 3D. It might be somebody who says it straight to your face. It could be somebody who writes a letter, who wants to stay anonymous. It feels like there is some sort of a message arriving that is going to make you feel overwhelmed. I'm just going to say it does feel like somebody is finding out some information that they suspected, and it's going to be confirmed by someone who either tells you to your face or they have proof, because it's pentacles. Stars are pentacles in this deck. They have proof. They have something tangible to give you. And I feel like there's no way you can refute it because the sun is out. And now you see that this thing can only end in heartache or heartbreak or frustration. And it could be something that is very deeply emotional for you, because we have the full moon, which is emotion. We have these here, 5 of Cups and 7 of Cups. I feel like there's no way to refute the proof, which is the Page of Pentacles energy. And so I feel like that makes you really confused, overwhelmed. Is this an illusion? How they're not lying to me though. This is the proof. It feels like the Five of Cups is the sadness that you feel from realizing the truth of how something is going to turn out. That maybe you haven't maybe you made a decision that is not necessarily going to turn out in your favor. I feel like the courage to see it when the sun comes out is all of it, because the sun can come out. Look, people can be given proof about things that aren't going to work all the time, but they're like, nah, I'm not looking at the sun, right? Not looking at the sun. It makes me sneeze. But we've got the Three of Swords. So I think that the Five of Wands here, Five of Cups, is telling me that there's something here that ends up being emotionally regretful. But first, I feel that the Seven of Cups is like, I don't want to believe it, but here's the proof. But I don't want to believe it. Tell me what else is going on with Virgo. We've got the Empress energy, we've got the Queen of Cups energy, and we have the Ten of Cups. So there's something here that you don't want to believe that is really deeply emotional for you. You may be the Empress, or I may be talking about the Empress. Could be somebody that you know. This could be going on outside of you. Could be information you receive that can't be refuted, that you are going to have to bring to light to somebody else, the Empress. You could be the Empress, or the Empress could be someone else, but it does feel like it's really deeply emotional. I think that it could be, for some of you, really, I think that what you don't see, possibly, because of all of this water, these are all feelings. The Ten of Cups is here, and that's happiness. So I feel like it's almost like this release or relief, because this is the end of the cycle. It's a release of water, release of emotion, deep emotion, about something that I think that you thought was a sure thing, because the Empress is very stable. The Empress is very abundant, and the sun is shining on the Empress. It feels like you were very sure that it was a sure thing. But I think there's something here that you're going to have to let go because of unrefuted evidence about something. And the fact that the Five of Cups is showing up tells me that it's something that you regret investing in, possibly, with the Page of Pentacles. It could be a person, place, thing, job, time, effort, and energy, right? Money. We've got the Hermit here. This puts you into a place where you really got to think this out. Because I think whatever this is really is deeply emotional for you. I feel like it puts you in this place where you have to, the Hermit is about, healing the self. It's not like we put it in our planner as to when we're going to be in the Hermit energy, but it does feel like this Hermit energy tells me it gives you time to think over the details of something here. Yeah. It feels like the Ten of Cups could be ending a cycle. And I honestly don't see the Ten of Cups like that usually. But I'm going to say that it feels like you're really going over the details of something that's deeply emotional. And it feels like you might have to release something here. I just want to clarify the Ten of Pentacles for you here. Give me just one card. Okay, it's the end of the cycle is what it is. So something that was previously kind of happy, very happy, deeply connected to you, you were deeply connected to it or very immersed in it, could have something to do with the Empress. Maybe you're the Empress, but now that there's a breakthrough, the sun has come out, you have to find the courage to release something because of unrefuted proof. And I think at first you don't want to believe it, that it's an illusion or somebody's lying to you, but the Five of Cups is here and the sun is shining on those as well. So it's very clear. All right, outcome, Judgment. King of Swords, oh boy. Queen of Swords, yikes. Okay, so a conversation goes down after that. I think you're confronting someone. It does feel like that with Judgment. It feels like something here that, like I said, it could have been a third-party thing. Maybe you feel like somebody's been cheating on you. But it feels like something that you felt was going on, all this water, right? Empress, quite intuitive, quite psychic. You knew, maybe you had no proof, but it felt like it was going on. I could be talking about maybe a layoff situation, right? So maybe you know already with unrefuted proof that there's going to be a layoff. It feels like it's something that you don't believe at first, but the Judgment card tells me this thing has been coming back round to you and trying to prove to you that it's time for you to make a decision about something, but you delayed making the decision because I don't feel you had the courage to do that. Break somebody's heart or break your own heart, because I really do feel the decision is yours. Judgment card is here with the King of Swords, Queen of Swords, and it feels like this is a sword fight. I always say that, right? The sword fight is not a physical fight, but it is words. It's like, I've got data, I've got proof, I've got details. There's no way, nobody's lying here. And it feels like the King of Swords gets really upset about it because the truth cannot be refuted. We've got proof. So I feel like the situation keeps coming up, but you kept pushing it away. No, I don't want to deal with it right now. I don't want to make the decision. We've got 2 swords here. It's decision-making energy. We've got 1, 2, and 3 is 5. That's an argument or a fight. Somebody's about to throw down their swords and say, I'm done with this. Death card is here. It's the end of the 10 of Cups here. Tell me about the outcome. We've got the Page of Cups. We've got the 7 of Wands and the Moon energy. All right, so it does feel like there is something that I feel like something here does really surprise you. It feels like what surprises you is that you thought that there were better boundaries here. And the Moon here is like that was an illusion. So somebody who is saying to you, yeah, I've got those boundaries, didn't really have those boundaries. I think that it could also be that you're surprised that someone is actually leaping the boundaries. Like, I feel like this is a friendship or a relationship or a boss employee relationship, and somebody is just skipping over the boundaries. And I think it's sort of surprising because this person is saying, but I'm not overstepping the boundaries. The Moon is here. It's an illusion. And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Somebody here slows right down. Well, I'm just going to have to show you the analytics, the proof. Look, Virgo, you know you don't miss a damn thing, right? I see you in the comments. There's people who just don't miss a damn thing. And so I feel like this slows you down and you pull out all the receipts and say, well, tell me, give me the truth about it then. Because this is the proof that I have. Where's your proof? Feels like that. The Wanderer is here. It feels like with the Wanderer that somebody here maybe didn't really believe that they are a person person who's actually a soul that is occupying a body at this time. It feels like it's going to change your mind. Whatever this is, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's going to change your mind. It's completely changed your mind. It's like this Hanged Man here tells me that you thought you had the right perspective, but now you got to slow down and pause because now you're worried about the Wanderer. The Wanderer is the one who's realizing that they're not just here on Earth by accident, that they actually have a connection to the Moon, and that the Moon can be involved in decision making. The Moon can be involved in how we feel about things. And I feel like how you feel is a bit worried because now you have to change how you thought about something. And I think that you thought this was a sure thing. All right. I always wonder if you guys know what I'm talking about. We've got Virgo, Scorpio. We've got Cancer, Pisces, Virgo, more Pisces, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. We've got Taurus and Libra. We've got Leo happening in Leo season. We've got Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. Yeah, we've got a lot of water here. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. We've got Virgo and Pisces, and we've got Leo. All right. Let's find out what is going on with you, Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter for the next 7 days. Tell me all about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Libra, in the next 7 days, things are about to pick up. Ooh, what's this? What's this? Ooh, boy. It feels like you're trying to relieve yourself of something you've been carrying around for a while, friend. It might be something that is financial, might be something that you are deciding to finally plant that seed. It feels like you're finally taking a chance to do something that you've been putting off for a while. I feel like you've been holding back and looking at the edge. looking like, I don't know if I can jump. You've been trying to find the courage to take a risk or take a leap or do something that might destabilize your energy for a moment. And I feel like that time is inching closer. You're inching closer and closer to the edge of jumping. I feel like it's really important to you that you not be taken as a fool. I mean, it's important to everybody, right? But I'm going to say that you're a different person than you were back there. I think I'm supposed to say, look, people really take you seriously. People take you seriously. They see you as somebody who is like a force to be reckoned with. Somebody here is very attracted to you. Very, very attracted to you, Libra. Strength card. I feel like you're finding the courage to take a leap into something. And I think it's only because it's become such a heavy weight that you don't want to carry it anymore. It's time to just get all this stuff off your back, whatever burden you've been, and it feels like the burden could be strength, it could be courage, trying to find courage to move forward and destabilize yourself for a moment. And it feels like it has to do with, like this little fox is looking off into the past, right? It feels like you're transforming this pentacle. So it feels like it is that you are deciding that something here has worth. It's worth working for. Got the little squirrel here. It's worth working for. It's worth changing myself for. I'm going to outfox them all. I'm going to advance by planting a seed, beginning something, starting a business, assessing something of value for sure. Tell me more about the Knight of Swords. We got the Knight of Wands, Two of Swords, Two of Wands, there it is, and then we've got the Nine of Wands. Well, isn't that interesting? So I was just saying that because it did feel like that there was something here that you were harboring, and it feels like it's the Nine of Wands. It feels like wounded warrior energy. Look, I feel like you've had a plan for a while, Libra, but you haven't yet actioned the plan. I feel you've been dealing with a block, and the block is this. It feels like there's something that you really want, but you know you're going to have to go and get it. You're going to have to take a risk. The risk of being told no, the risk of being told you can't have it, the risk of being turned down. It feels like this Nine of Wands is always in the back of your mind. But what if I go for it? This is the thing that I want. I find the courage and I go for it and I take the leap and I don't get it. I think you have a plan, and I think you've had that plan for a while. And the Two of Swords is here saying, whew, but it's going to destabilize everything. I feel like that's why this person's wearing a blindfold. I don't think you want to see what's going to happen. And I think that's why it feels like here you've been holding back from taking some sort of a leap, something that I'm going to say with all these wands here, look at them all. All these wands are giving me a little bit of feeling in my gut that feels not really like I'm going to lose, but like it's so thrilling that it's like I can't not take the risk. It's so worth it, I'm going to say, because the Ace of Pentacles was on the bottom of the deck. In the future, it seems like you investing in this seems so worth it. Could be a financial investment, an investment in a person, taking a risk financially, or opening a new path, solid path to something. It's a solid investment, I think. We've got the Ten of Swords, and there it is. The Ten of Swords is like, and then what if I do all this and I feel like a fool because it didn't work out and I get hurt anyway in the end. I get betrayed or I get hurt, because then I'm going to think about that failure until I'm dead. I'm going to think about it over and over and over, and all the details and how I felt when I was taking the biggest risk of my life to make some sort of communication, to talk to somebody, to say something possibly. The Eight of Wands is here. It feels like it's a risky adventure. It's not something that you would do. You're going way outside your comfort zone to do something you wouldn't usually do that could end badly. And you've got the plan, and in your plan, you've considered that this could end badly because you are actually going to destabilize yourself in order to get this thing that you want. Oh boy, what's this? The plot thickens. The Seven of Swords is in the reverse. What are you revealing, friend? Okay, now I'm just nosy. Now I'm just your bestie. You're on the other side of the table here, and I just need to figure out what's going on. Seven of Swords in the reverse is secret is revealed, friend. What is this? We've got the World card. Okay. Something that you definitely want to accomplish. It also feels like something that would be a big milestone for you, because I really feel like you've had this plan for a while, but you've been stuck there because you really haven't had the courage to do it until now. Do you see what I mean? It's become that you've come to this place that you are so curious about what the outcome might be that you're willing to take the risk. So I feel like what's being revealed, the secret that's being revealed is, I am well aware that this could just be the end of the road. And that I'll make the biggest clown of myself, and then I'm going to close the door and run away. Like, it feels like somebody here is realizing this could be the end of the road, but I am way too curious about what's about to happen here. I've got to figure it out. The Six of Cups, because I don't think you can ignore that this feels like, it feels like it should be. And when I'm talking about the Six of Cups, yes, it does feel like nostalgia, but it feels like this is how it's supposed to unfold. I often see the Six of Cups as, when you come to Earth here, that you don't just learn things and then become great. I feel like you actually are remembering who you were in the last life. I'm talking about people who are savants, people who do things, creative things, that they just picked up a violin and all of a sudden they're a virtuoso. Like, it feels like this is something that is, I'm going to say, you're remembering that you were a person in the last life. I don't know, maybe your South Node is in a fire sign. Oh wait, South Node's in Leo right now, isn't it? Yeah, because I think North Node is in Aquarius. That's very interesting. It does feel like, probably with this energy here, it feels like you're remembering how thrilling it felt to be curious about something and take a risk. Okay, there's that Ace of Pentacles, and it just popped right out of the deck. We're reminding that this is a very valuable thing, that it feels, yeah, look at that. And that fox is looking into the past. And I feel like in the past, maybe the past life, you were somebody who took risks. All right, let's look at the outcome. Oh, I'm actually a little bit excited for you now. Libra, we've got the Four of Pentacles. We've got the Three of Pentacles. And we've got the Devil. There's somebody here that you've been thinking about, or something that you've been thinking about building that you cannot stop thinking about. It feels like this Devil energy is more of a repetitive thought pattern, or thinking about a friend, thinking about a friend of a friend, thinking about a group, a community, thinking about a partnership. The Four of Pentacles is here. Something that you used to be very shut off from, like you're like, I'm never going to do that again. I feel like you've become open to, but maybe if this feels like it's so valuable, what if it grows? What if I immediately plant the Ace and all of a sudden the threes grow? What if all of a sudden I have growth in my friendship group, or I am going to be able to collaborate or cooperate with somebody that is something I wouldn't usually do. Maybe you're pulling someone in for a collaboration. It feels like this is something that is scaring you a little. I'm just going to say that it feels like you're wondering, have we built a good enough foundation that if we start to build on it, that it will stay? So tell me what's around the corner then. All right. Kind of felt like that might be something to do with deepening a bond with someone. So it does feel like somebody has decided to pay more attention to the emotional side of a relationship, a friendship, or deepen some sort of an emotional bond with somebody, possibly. We've got the Magician and the Ace of Wands. Elsie's always telling me that I create my own reality. I can do whatever I want if I'm brave enough to create it. And I really do think that that's what's going on here. I feel like somebody here is realizing the power they have, and that the ball has always been in their court. The Ace of Wands tells me that I always see this as a rocket. I know that it's the Ace of Wands, and it's something that's exciting, brand new, and it feels like somebody wants to push forward. It feels like, let's go to the moon. Let's just shoot for the moon then. That's what it feels like to me here. The Ace of Wands is excitement. But also the phallic response, I'm just going to say, I'll just put that out there. And then we have the Star. So I think that you're really hoping that this is going to go the way that you want. But I feel like, look at this. Look at the look on the face of the Magician. It's like, oh yeah, but I know it'll work. If I use these tools correctly and I really believe in myself or the power of manifestation, it'll work. I feel like you're hopeful it'll work, but I don't think you need hope because you have all these fire cards here. I think what you need more is action. Something's about to be revealed to you. The Ace of Swords is in the reverse. You're the one that has to open the conversation in order to be able to follow through with the plan. And follow through with the decision. We got the Two of Pentacles here, Four of Swords. It feels like there's been quietness, or somebody's been healing, or I usually see this as intermittent conversation, and maybe it's time to open the conversation again. But I think that you realize it's on you to do that. All right. Gosh, your readings are better than TV lately. We got the Sun, which is Leo. This is probably going to happen in Leo season. And so, Leo season, I believe, ends on the 22nd. Virgo season begins on the 23rd. So, interesting. We have Scorpio, Cancer, Aquarius. We have Gemini and Aries. Aquarius again, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. Look, I feel like somebody here has probably got fixed sign in the moon energy, and it's taken you forever to get here or make this decision. I think you've been sitting on this plan for a really long time. Sagittarius energy. We've got Gemini, more Sagittarius and Aries, Libra. We've got Capricorn and more Capricorn. The plan is in place, friend. We've got a lot of Capricorn. You've been planning for a while. Strategy, I think it is. We've got Leo, Sagittarius, and more Aries. Are you taking the leap, friend? Because not all of you have to. I'm not telling you have to. I'm just saying the opportunity is available if you want it. Let's talk about my sister sign, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. The next 7 days for Scorpio. What's going on for Scorpio? All right, the Knight of Cups is here. We've got the Queen of Swords. Somebody want to talk about feelings? Is that you? That's not very Scorpio. It feels like somebody... Look, that Queen is pointing straight at the Knight of Cups. Somebody wants to talk about feelings. We've got the World card to accomplish something. The Nine of Cups. Oh, isn't that very interesting? I just finally want to say it. The World card is the end. Look, this is going to be the end of the chapter. After this, it works into the Nine of Cups, or it's the end of the chapter. I feel like that's you're going for broke. I know that people in other countries don't understand when I say that. It's like you're all in or you're all out. You've put your money on the horse and you're hoping for the best. That's what it feels like here. The Queen of Swords is like, I'm going to be very, very honest right now. So sit down and listen. Because the Scorpio is going to speak their feelings. You better be ready to sit down and listen. Because they're only going to say it once. Look, I feel, Scorpio, that you don't need this. I'm just going to say, I don't think that you need this. Because the Nine of Cups tells me that you have built your happiness from the inside out. You don't need external validation. I feel like you want this, but I really don't think that you need it. I think you'd be, like, I don't think you're stuck to the outcome is what I'm saying, because the World card is here and you're going to be, at the end of the chapter, you're going to be happy either way, right? You're going to be happy whether this works out or whether it doesn't. I don't think you are stuck to the outcome. Yeah, tell me about the Knight of Cups, please. Got the Four of Swords. You've taken some time to think on it for a little bit. I feel like you've been healing yourself emotionally. Maybe you just weren't ready to talk about something. Maybe you've been putting it off for a bit. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. I really do feel that you want to begin something, but it's got to be with a solid offer. There would be no other way for you, right? It's got to be a solid offer. It's got to be clear. The terms of the contract have to be clear. Maybe I'm not speaking about you speaking your emotions. Maybe I'm talking about you finally seeing something clearly about what you have to do in order to move forward and invest in something. It could be a business. It could be work. It could be a new path. It could be school. Tell me more. But it feels like it's something that you really had to get. Like, fours are always about stability, stable of the mind, clarity of the mind. You really had to lay down and think about it. You didn't want to make this a quick decision, and I don't think you are, because Pentacles and the Queen doesn't rush things for sake of balance, and water runs slow, right? This is the meandering sort of fantasy. It feels like somebody has been fantasizing about what it might be like if it all goes the way I want it. We've got the Queen of Cups. I feel what you don't know at this point is how deep the feelings are on the other side. There could be an age difference here. Maybe it's slight, maybe it's not. But it does feel like, I feel like the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords, when they show up in a reading for me, it's always I'm going to soften my words. But I'm going to be very honest with you that I do have boundaries. And it feels like a conversation is going to take place. Somebody's liberating themselves, standing up and saying, look, we finally have to talk about this. But whether it works out the way I hope or whether it doesn't is really not, I'm really not stuck to the outcome. So let's talk about it logically. Let's talk about how we feel. Do you feel the same? Or how you feel about investing in property, investing in like maybe 3 or 5 years to go get your doctorate. Like it feels like somebody's making an investment that they're hoping is going to satisfy them emotionally as well. We've got the Page of Wands. Somebody here is curious about how someone else feels about it. 10 of Pentacles. And if this has the longevity to stand the test of time, somebody here has a plan. I feel, Scorpio, you have a plan. For you, it looks like it's all in or it's all out. If you're not in, and this isn't something that we're going to look at for the long term, then we're not even going to begin it. Not even in fire. I feel like you're excited to talk about something that is long term. This could be a long-term stint in school. This could be a long-term relationship. But it feels like there's a lot of value here. But you're curious if the other person sees the depth and the value. If they're also interested in looking at it the way you are. I think it's an exciting evaluation. I think that you're willing to assess, find the solid ground, and put the money in, time, effort, energy, whatever it is, or walk away. You see, that's what it looks like. I feel like you're going to be happy after the ending of this chapter either way, because even if this is something that's romantic, it's like, I'm just going to say this out loud, and then you get to make your decision. And if you tell me no, that's okay. I'll close this chapter and I'll be happy anyway. But if you say yes, if you do have the same depth of feeling that I do romantically, then if we close this door, then we get to start happy together. So I feel like you're sort of detaching from the outcome. That's what it feels like. I think that you want it. It feels exciting. You're very curious. You want to take a risk. But you really need to know if the other person is all the way in or not. Otherwise, you're not bothering. We've got the 3 of Wands. In the outcome, we've got the King of Wands. And we got the Judgment card. Look, I feel like you're just waiting for someone to give you the yes or the no, like the go ahead to pursue. It feels like that. Feels like somebody has got to say yes or no to someone else, and then they will pursue, and pursue hard, because the king's not playing, right? The king is pursuing something way harder than the page. And so I feel like the 3 of Wands tells me in the future, I will put all my fire into going to get what I want. The Judgment card is here. I feel like that the reason you think you need to have the conversation is because I think you can't stop thinking about it, because this opportunity keeps presenting itself to you. So I feel like it tells me whatever is meant for you will never pass you by. If this is something that keeps looping back, an opportunity that you keep pushing away because maybe I'm not ready, maybe I'm not ready for anything long-term, maybe I'm not ready for a long-term investment, for emotionally or money, time, effort, maybe I'm not ready for that. Around the corner, we have the Page of Swords, we have the High Priestess, and the Star. Listen to your intuition. Ooh, intuition on steroids. Look at that. The Sun is here. So I feel like you're really hopeful that this is going to work out the way that you want it to work out. The High Priestess tells me, really listen to your intuition, but I know that you will. It's like with Scorpio, it's like you can't. It's like you can't ignore your intuition. Your intuition is sort of steps into the room before you do. So the Page of Swords is, do all of your investigation work, but also be a student of your intuition and keep it all quiet until you're ready to say it. So I feel like you have a plan in place. I'm going to say, because these 2 wands are here, and I feel like it's in the future. So for some of you, it could be in a week. We got a wand here showing, but it could be in 2 weeks. One more card. We got the Five of Pentacles. You're just hoping that you're not going to be left standing there on the outside looking in. So I think that what you're going to keep quiet or silent, because this card is below the High Priestess, is that I don't really know if this is going to work out, but I'm not invested in the outcome. There we go. No regrets, man. You're going at it. You're going to do it. No regrets. All right. Because you don't want to have a regret, right? You don't want to look back and say, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I don't think you want to do that. We've got Pisces. We've got Virgo, Taurus, Aquarius, more Pisces, couple times, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. It's taken you a long time to make this decision, I feel, and it's because you've been blocked about what to say, how to say it. Got Virgo. We got Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. We've got Virgo, Pisces, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. You could be completing this task in Leo season, which is the next week. The next week or so. No, it's not. I keep thinking it's later in the month than it is. I think we're the 8th today, or the 9th as I read this. And the next week would be the 15th. So I feel like, yeah, it could be within the next week or so, but I feel like it's going to be within Leo season, so the next 2 weeks could apply. We got Virgo energy, and we've got more Piscean energy. All right. Gosh, I feel like these readings are long today. We got for time? No, right on time. All right. Sagittarius, my fire family. Saggies, how are you? Sagittarius. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs. Tell me about Sag for the next 7 days, please. Tell me about Sag for the next 7 days. Ooh, we got the Nine of Pentacles. Tell me why the Nine of Pentacles is here. We've got the Ten of Cups. Somebody likes what they see, Sag. That's what it feels like. I feel like you stick out like a sore thumb. I'm just going to say, you stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm saying that with kindness and love, because somebody sees you as somebody who is not like anyone else they've known before. And I feel like you exude some sort of confidence, happiness. It feels like you're attracting all kinds of stuff to you. You're in a very big attraction mode here. You're attracting Ten of Cups, so happy people, happy situations. We've got the Eight of Wands here, and one of them is about to show up here. I feel like that you are making your moves in silence. It feels like you're making aggressive moves into your future, to build your future, to save your money, to work on yourself, whatever the Nine of Pentacles is for you. And it feels like you're making these aggressive moves in silence. I feel like you don't go around telling everybody all your business, right? New money is loud. Old money is quiet. Right? People in your face telling you how much money they're making. It's because they're not telling the truth, or they're not used to making that kind of money. I think you're keeping it all silent. I think you have a plan here. Yeah, I think you're keeping your plan silent, or whatever adventure you're about to plan, you're keeping it silent here. Tell me about the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Seven of Swords in the reverse, hey? We've got the Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. There it is. I feel like you're not releasing a secret. You might have been building something in the background. I don't know why I just heard Charlie say building your nerve. It could be that. I feel like you're taking some type of risk, but it feels as though it's a comfortable risk, because the Nine of Pentacles wouldn't be here exuding confidence if I wasn't okay with taking the loss. I feel like there's this Three of Pentacles here. It feels like you're organizing something or building something. You are going to reveal it, but in its time. When it's time, I feel like you will reveal it with the Seven of Swords in the reverse, but until then, you're keeping it secret until your time to reveal, because I feel like you want the foundation built. You want it to be steady or sturdy or solid. I feel like you want something to be restored. Maybe you're restoring an old home, an old car. Feels like you want people to look at and say, whoa, that's pretty cool. I don't think you're a show-off. I feel like you're a person who's doing all of this under the surface where people can't see it. I don't think you're doing it for external validations, because the person in the Nine of Pentacles doesn't really do that. They don't need to. How they shift a room speaks for itself. We've got the Ace of Wands. To lift off, Charlie said. I think you're keeping it quiet to lift off, because if you scroll back, I think that was the last reading I did. It was a Scorpio reading where I said this reminded me of a rocket. We've got the Four of Wands in the reverse, and we've got the Ten of Wands. So it does feel like possibly you've been working really hard. Maybe you have a business. Maybe your business has been doing well, or maybe you've been doing really well in the corporate world. It feels like you are somebody who is very well respected in your community, I'm going to say, your work community, your home community. It feels like you have the respect of your peers. They see you as somebody who's not like others, who's willing to take a risk on something here. The Four of Wands being in the reverse tells me that it might not necessarily be the most, I want to say stable thing you would do, because it feels like, this Ten of Wands here, it almost feels like it's weighing really heavy on me that maybe this is going to destabilize me for a little bit, because the Four of Wands is here. 4 and 1 is 5. There could be some indecision about whether I should take some sort of chance. It really does, like building a house, possibly building a foundation to something. This could be partnership. Maybe you're in partnership with somebody who's going to build, but it feels like this is something that is a risk that you might be taking. It's the beginning of an exciting new adventure that you're involved in, and you're not exactly sure how the outcome is going to be, and that maybe weighs heavy on you. Okay, well, the Wheel of Fortune is here, and that's why. So it feels like there is something that's changing, and you're like, well, everything is in flux. Everything is changing. It's the only thing we can bet on this, that everything will change. That's the good news and the bad news, right? And it feels as though there is something here that is expanding. So maybe you're building something onto your house. Maybe you are saving enough money to build a house. It feels like somebody here is making a big purchase, or is all of a sudden going to say, hey, this is why I've been away from the friend group. This is why I've been away, because I've been building towards something. So the Wheel of Fortune tells me that something is about to go really well for you after all the changes settle, after the expansion slows down a little bit. When destiny rolls up, I feel like you're going to have a really cool thing to show to people, like where maybe it's a rag to riches story. Look, I was packing away all this money and now I got a down payment on a house. It feels like something here isn't quite sure, and that's why you're keeping it quiet, but it feels like you're headed for fortunate things, friend. I feel like whatever this is probably going to work out, because the Ten of Wands tells me that you're going to be dropping some sort of a burden. It's not going to be something that is unsure for very long. Tell me about the outcome for Sagittarius. We've got Temperance. There you are. The King of Swords. I love it. The Five of Pentacles. So look, the Magician is here. It feels like you are building something because you know that you are the builder of your life, right? A lot of people allow life to live them. You are living your life. And I think you are a person who is taking risks, which tells me that maybe you are a Sag rising. That maybe you're taking risks, but metered risks, and you're keeping everything that you're doing under the surface. You're really happy about how things are moving along in silence. The outcome tells me Temperance is here. It's like everything that you've learned, known, all of your, what you would call failures, I call them lessons, all the things that didn't work out and did work out are like colliding in this moment. It's like all of the things that built me are colliding in this moment, and it feels like this King of Swords is somebody who has the final say. So I don't know if this is your energy or somebody else. Somebody might be giving the final say on the build, final say on whether or not this stays up or stays down. Maybe you don't feel like you have enough of a down payment. It feels like this is some sort of clarity that comes to mind. I feel like you feel in a little bit of lack, feeling like this isn't going to work out. I'm going to have done all this work in silence, and I think that's why you're keeping it in silence, because maybe it doesn't work out. But Temperance is here, and when Temperance is here, it's a moment of alchemy that you become healed in your thought patterns. And so I feel like now it feels like something is going to work out, because the Wheel of Fortune's here. Look, when the Wheel of Fortune shows up, everything's moving forward. Especially look at all that fire energy. Something here is moving forward, and I feel like Temperance is here to ease your mind about the Five of Pentacles. it might be costing you a pretty penny, because the Five of Pentacles could also be impacting your finances. Maybe you're like, after I spent all that money, is it going to work? Tell me what's around the corner. We've got the Hanged Man. We've got the Six of Swords. Yep, this thing is no longer on pause. It feels to me like you've gotten your perspective and it's time to move forward. You know what it is? I feel like you've decided to change your mind about something or how you feel, and now you're in this positive mindset. Because look, if you think you cannot do it or cannot have it, or you think you can have it or can do it, you're right. You're correct. Because if you are really truly the magician, you are creating your own reality. And what are you creating it with? Are you creating it with happy energy, with the hope it's going to work out, looking forward to the most positive things? Because if you look forward to positive things, you will see them. If you look forward for the things that are not positive, you will see those things as well. There you go. You're taking a risk, and I feel like you're doing it quietly. But I do believe that you are not really stuck to the outcome. You're hoping that this is going to work. You're taking a lot of risks at this time, but I think you're doing it in silence because you don't really want to fall on your face in front of everybody. I don't see the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands isn't scared of falling on her face in front of everybody because she knows she's resilient, but I don't see the Queen of Wands. So I feel like you are about to detach from the pause, which means things are going to start moving again. So maybe you've been feeling stuck. I think you've gotten your perspective on what you want as an outcome. The Hanged Man looks toward the outcome. And the Nine of Cups tells me, I'm already happy. Whether this works or whether it doesn't, I'm already happy. So I feel like you're ready to take the risk. I think that you are probably in this energy before of really not knowing what you wanted, a little bit of indecision, a little bit of being in your head. But I think you decided you're going to be happy either way, and that this is going to be a new day for you regardless of what goes on, regardless of what the outcome is. That you can say, I took the risk. And then you don't have to go into the rest of your life with the woulda, shoulda, coulda. We've got Sagittarius energy here. And you know what? You might as well do it while Jupiter's in Leo. You might as well, right? Because the sun is shining on your abundance and your expansion. So we do have Sagittarian energy. We do have, look, we got a lot of Sag energy here. We got Sag, and then we got Pisces. Maybe you're quite intuitive. We've got Aries and more Pisces. We've got Gemini energy and more Pisces. Listen to your intuition. Aquarius, more Sag. We've got Taurus energy, Piscean energy. We've got Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, and more Sag. Look, it's all about you, friend. I think that the universe is in favor of whatever risk you're about to take. All right, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter, for my Earth cousins. Tell me what's going on for Capricorn in the next 7 days. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter. Tell me about Capricorn. Tell me about Capricorn. We have the King of Cups and the Three of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups and the Six of Wands. The Death card is here. Something's about to change. Ooh, it feels like somebody is going to bring something out into the light. Something that someone has been keeping underneath the surface is about to bring it out into the light and in front of everybody. That's what it feels like here. So it feels like it's the Three of Swords. Somebody's feeling very heartbroken or sad. The Knight of Cups is here. Something that I thought was going to work out didn't. Something that I thought I saw clearly was actually a bit of an illusion. Feels like there's something hiding under the surface. It could be very deeply emotional. Could be deep heartache. Somebody here is going to probably confront someone or say something, bring it out into the open. And it feels like there's been an ending or a transformation. Look, the Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords is here. It could be an ending. Let's talk about the King of Cups. I feel like somebody feels as though they've been holding it under the surface long enough. I'm tired of trying to keep all my feelings tucked away. Oh, Charlie just said dirty little secret. Charlie's my guide, by the way, if you've never been here before. Okay, let's talk about the King of Cups. We've got the Queen of Wands. Somebody is about to make a brave move. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. And we've got the Queen of Pentacles. All right. We're going to get this right. We're going to get the details out, is what it feels like. We are going to stabilize this. I feel like this has been, I'm going to say it feels like it's been emotionally, draining's not the word. Feels like it's been emotionally volatile underneath the surface. Something's about to come to the light. Something's about to be revealed, it feels like. And I have to be honest, it feels like somebody is doing it to even the score or make something stable or grounded. And when I say even the score, I don't mean in a mean way. I don't think somebody's like, I'm going to get you out in the public. Like, it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like somebody here needs to bring all the details or the process to light. Because it feels like somebody's feeling emotionally heartbroken over something that they chose to keep secret, or somebody who, maybe it's an NDA, like, a non-disclosure agreement. It almost feels like you made an agreement with somebody here to keep something silent or quiet. I feel like that this has a time limit, or that you said, okay, I'll be silent for quiet for the next 2 weeks, but that's it, or the next 6 weeks possibly. Or maybe somebody doesn't know. Maybe you're keeping it underneath the surface and somebody doesn't know that you're about to make a bold move here. It feels like this Queen of Wands tells me, I don't really care. I've fallen down before. I'll get back up again. I don't really care. But what I need is to know the process, the details. You need to give me the analytics. I need to know why. It feels like somebody's looking for details as to why. And it really does feel like somebody's disappointed that something didn't work out. And has been asked to keep their silence about it. But I think that it's coming out into the sunlight, possibly in a public place. What the hell is going on here? What is going on here? Somebody's going to decide to break their silence. That's what it feels like here. The Wheel of Fortune is changing things, expanding things. And what is that? It feels like it's in a social setting that something comes to light. Something that was hidden now has come to light. I was being silent about it. I gave you your time to find the analytics or to find the truth or the groundedness of the situation here. Jeez, what's going on here? I don't usually get a dramatic read for you. Freaking me out here, Capricorn. I feel like you're waiting on the details of something. And then you're going to make a bold move and you're going to bring something to the surface, something that's been disappointing. We've got the King of Pentacles. Okay. What's going on? I keep getting all these little short quips and words from my guide, Charlie. And he said, iceberg straight ahead. You know, when that in the Titanic, remember he yells iceberg straight ahead. Like, that's what I got when I put this down. I heard that in my head. So this is not an iceberg, but it does feel like there's an obstacle here that somebody is going to have to try and go around. Now, I think that somebody here is very loyal. We've got the King and the Queen of Pentacles. These are two. Oh. What's that then? Charlie just said they're apart. Hang on. We're going over the details. Oh, okay. It does feel like, yes, somebody, you know what this does feel like? Because the King and the Queen of Pentacles are right here. And it feels like something's about to hit the iceberg, right? The Titanic hit the iceberg and that was the whole deal. It feels like whoever is in the feminine leaning energy, and you could be a man like that as well. You could be a man or a woman. Whoever's in the feminine leaning energy is saying, you've got a time limit. You got to get all this stuff together. All the stuff we grew together. You're going to have to split the assets with me. If you want to get this done before it comes out into the open, then get it done. It feels like somebody here has been very loyal. I'm looking at these two. It feels like these two build a lot of wealth together, right? Taurus and Capricorn. They build a lot of material wealth together. And it feels as though somebody is about to announce that we're splitting, we're breaking up. It feels like someone has maybe said, okay, give me some time before we tell everybody. Give me some time to formulate a plan. Fool is here. Somebody's pushing another person into it. What is going on here? I don't want to look like a fool. I want to look like I am in control of my assets, or I'm in control of the situation. And it feels like the other person, and look, this could be going on outside of you. It could be somebody you know. It doesn't have to be going on. I feel like this could be something you're hearing about. Like, there feels like there is a couple here that are about to split their assets, announce their departure. It feels like they're going to do it in public, and it feels like somebody here is like, slow down, give me a moment to figure out the plan. Yeah, like slow down a little bit here. Give me a moment and don't make me look like a fool. Somebody's been asked either via an NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement, or we have some sort of an agreement. Could have been in the marriage agreement. I don't know what it is, but somebody here is going to blow this all up. It feels like the Queen of Wands is going to blow it all up because, look, I'll bounce back. I don't care. But somebody here might have a public persona, might be the president of a company. It feels like this is a high-level couple that has created a lot of material wealth, and it does feel like something is about to be dispelled, and that is the happy family. Like, people think when they look at a family that has everything, material wealth, big house, bunch of cars, all the toys, all of that stuff, they automatically assume that those people are happy. And I feel like somebody is saying, before you announce it, give me a moment. Before you go at it full bore, the fool's in the reverse, before you make me look like a fool, slow down just a moment and let people think what they're going to think for a bit. It feels like somebody here wants to announce something or bring it out into the sunlight after a really hard cycle. So the Six of Wands is here. It feels like there's really no more feelings here, or somebody broke someone else's heart, but is asking them, wait, please just wait and let me figure out the finances first before we announce this to everybody. But I think the Queen of Wands is somebody who's saying, get on it then. And then goes back to just painting. Get on it, because you have a time limit. What's the outcome? We have the Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Three of Cups, because I'm revealing it to the friend group. So you've got exactly, probably till the end of Leo season. Somebody is probably saying, look, you got to the end of Leo season. I'll give you that. Get your crap together. Figure out what you're doing. Figure out the assets. I don't care what kind of obstacles you're dealing with, but the Wheel of Fortune is here saying that something here is about to change. But look, I feel like it's changing for the good. I feel like this is something that needed to happen for a long time. And I think that's why it's the Three of Cups and the Sun. Because I feel like somebody is revealing to other people, look, I'm finally free. Or I'm getting out of here. But it almost feels like, and I just want to say that it feels like somebody's blackmailing someone else, but it doesn't feel like blackmail. It feels like somebody's saying, okay, but I'm the face of the company. I'm the CEO. I need to make sure that everything is under guard before we let everybody know. And I think that someone else is saying, okay, well, everything changes maybe in October. Everything changes when the sun comes out. Maybe it's Leo season. And I'm going out to celebrate this with my friends. I'm going to tell the friend group. So you need to figure out what's going on, because I think that this person wants somebody to think that everything is fine for a while before you make the bold move and announce it. Because I think that the Queen of Wands is like, I don't really care. You care about your financial reputation. I don't really care. I'm gonna bounce. I'm made of rubber. I don't have a problem with whatever people know. Yes, so I feel like we are looking at probably a couple who other people see as having the dream life. The dream life. And maybe it's not millions of dollars that they have, but maybe they do really well financially. It feels like everybody is assuming, the group of friends, that we've built all of this happiness, that we're the couple who is just really always an adoration of each other. We've been together since we were teenagers. It's like they have the perfect life. Everybody says they have the perfect life, but I'm going to say that I think underneath the surface right now, that people can't see, is that something here is about to go from Six of Cups to Three of Pentacles, about to go into a partnership. So maybe we're gonna still run the business together, but we're no longer together. It's the end, friend. That's what it is. And I feel like the Emperor is the person who's the big cheese, right? Somebody who has to protect their reputation. Somebody who has to, because, when an emperor stands up, a CEO, or somebody who owns a big corporation or runs a big corporation, the fact that you can't keep your own marriage together may have the people who are investing in you take a second look at you. So I feel like something here is the door is about to close and somebody is under pressure to make some sort of decisions really quickly so they can secure all of their assets before it all comes out into the public. I don't know where that comes from. All right. But it's about money and growth, so it makes sense that it's coming out in Capricorn. So we've got Pisces. We got Virgo and Aries, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. Somebody wanted more time, but the end is near. We got Gemini. We got Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy here. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, and Scorpio. We've got Leo energy. Could be in Leo season, friends. We've got more. We've got Cancer energy here, and then we've got Sagittarian energy. We've got Pisces and Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, and Aries on the bottom of the deck. Holy man. Whew, that took a lot of energy. All right, let's find out what's going on for you, Aquarius. Let's find out what's going on for the Aquas. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Got a lot of energy on you lately, right? Let's find out what's going on for Aquarius. Tell me about Aquarius, please, in the next 7 days. We've got the Four of Cups. We've got the Two of Cups. Feels like something has become stagnant here. Wow. Okay, Aquarius, I feel like there is something here that has turned from emotional connection to more of a bartering system. Yeah, I don't know why I'm picking that up from the Six of Pentacles, but I was going to say more of a practical, but it's more of a bartering system is what Charlie said. Charlie is my guide if you've never been here before. More of a bartering system? What is this? Oh, the Queen of Wands. Oh, okay. I'm just going to say this as delicately as I can. It almost feels like... it feels like this is maybe something that is being done that has become very stagnant or boring. It could be a relationship. And then we have the Two of Cups. It does feel like it's deeply bonded, or we have emotional conversation. We know a lot of secrets about each other. It's emotional exchange, right? But when I pulled the Six of Pentacles and Charlie said it's more like a barter, then the Queen of Wands popped up, and I'm like, maybe there's really, like, the emotional side of this relationship has gotten really stale, but it feels like the bartering system is within the passion, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'll give you what you want if you give me passion. That's what it feels like. All right. Tell me about the Four of Wands. Oh, sorry, Four of Cups, not Four of Wands. Feels like it used to be a happier time. We've got this person who's sort of sad looking over the Three of Cups. Used to be a happier time. And somebody's wondering about where's the other cup. Like, I feel like somebody feels rejected emotionally. I've got the Six of Swords here. Oh, okay, Towers here. And the Nine of Cups. I think something is going to surprise you. Yeah. And I think what's going to surprise you is as you detach from the overthink tank, or as you detach from some sort of chaos you've been enduring in some type of a relationship here, I think what's going to surprise you is that you're going to be way happier when you're going to be way happier to be in this barter system than you were trying to maintain this emotional side of this, because I don't really think that anything really got past the Two of Cups. Now, it does feel like there is a flip-flopper, I'm going to say. This, I never really read the card this way, but somebody's making a choice. It's like they're hot and cold, hot and cold. Sometimes they show you emotions, and sometimes it's only passion. It feels like something is going to surprise you, that by leaving here, or by moving forward, going from this chaotic back and forth flip-flop sort of energy in this relationship, that when the Tower shows up, it almost makes you happy. It's like a realization that it actually is freeing me from being stagnant. I don't know why I'm staying here, but it feels like somebody might be staying for the passion, and that there's really no more feelings left here. But it feels like it could be soulmate. 4 and 2 is 6. Feels like maybe we're staying because maybe we're soulmates. Maybe that's what we keep telling everybody, that we're soulmates. It doesn't feel like soulmate energy, I'm just going to say, but it feels as though somebody maybe thought it was and labeled it as that. it feels though you could be the one who has decided to detach and move away here from this sort of, this was a chaotic situation. It almost feels that somebody is, what is the word? It feels like somebody is hot and cold on you. Yeah, Aquarius. So I think that when the Tower comes, it's for mercy. Look, I'm the reader that always says that. We don't like when the Tower shows up. It's a shit show. Everything's everywhere. It all implodes. It breaks it down. But really, it was an illusion to start with, right? So I feel like it's almost, it makes you, the Nine of Cups person is looking back at the Tower, and I feel like it makes you happy. Like, I'm not saying like rah-rah happy, but you know what I mean? It almost is like it frees you. We've got the King of Pentacles. We've got the Seven of Cups. So what are we going to do with the assets? What are we going to do with the money or the material wealth that we've gathered? And the Four of Swords. So it feels like somebody here doesn't know what to say. It is a heartbreaking situation, but I think that it was an illusion to start with. That I really do feel that it never got past the Two of Cups. It really never got past this place where we bonded. And then it fell into the Four of Cups. It's like somebody started game playing immediately. But I think, Aquarius, that you could be a person who has money. Maybe the other person did. It feels like it all had to do with material wealth. Somebody saw you as a good opportunity to be able to live high off the hog, right? To be able to live in wealth. And look, I'm not saying that you've got millions of dollars. What I'm saying is you probably got a sturdy home. Maybe you are paying a mortgage that you can afford. Maybe you got a pretty decent job. The King of Pentacles is the person who is, doing it all themselves. They've got a lot on their plate, but they're responsible with their money. They're paying all their loans. They can afford the things that they have. And I feel like somebody maybe thought that you were richer than you were, but maybe it's because you live within your means. And the Queen of Wands is somebody who I feel is taking risks. Like it feels as though somebody here, like you were very attracted to this person, it feels like. And it feels like it was, the fire has always been there, but it feels like the emotional part of it just drops off. It becomes stagnant. Nobody's showing you emotion, but we're still very attracted to each other. That's what it looks like. Yeah, the Knight of Wands is here. So it feels like it's a decision that I've made to stay in a situation where I'm getting really good passion, but I don't feel any emotional connection here. I think somebody's trying to keep another person in their life because of the perks of being your person. Because I feel like you are a person who, like I said, even if you're not super wealthy, that you're a person who's really responsible with your finances, because the King of Pentacles is that, and is a person who provides, right? So I feel like that there is a lot of passion here, but there isn't a lot of love. And I think that the Tower is showing up because I feel like what you really want ultimately is to be happy, but you don't care if that is in this relationship or not. And I feel like the Six of Swords is getting you out of some sort of chaos of this going back and forth, because we saw the Lovers on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, it feels like you don't know where this is at. It feels like you don't know where it's going. You haven't decided that, but something's got to come out into the open here, because the Six of Wands is, Six of Wands is everybody's around. Well, everybody's going to see it. The King of Wands is somebody with a lot of wisdom, right? And is quite inspiring. This is somebody who's always going to get what they want. It feels like with the Six of Wands and the one wand of the King, I feel like you're showing up here as the King of Pentacles, so you're probably also in this King of Wands energy. And I see here that there's a real sexual attraction here. There's two people who are very beautiful to look at, and they're very attracted to each other, but we have the instability of somebody who just keeps coming back in and out to have the advantage of being with the King of Pentacles. So the Moon energy is here. And I feel like things aren't as they seem. So this might be something that ends up revealing itself to you in a tower moment here. Because I feel like with this here, it feels like you've been holding your boundaries, like keeping your boundaries up, making sure that it feels like you have to protect your wealth, protect your money, protect what is yours. What's around the corner here for Aquarius? We've got the Knight of Pentacles, we've got the Star and the Wheel of Fortune. So, that's your energy, right? We've got the Star here. I feel like I think for the longest time you've been trying to meter your emotions. And what I mean by that is you've been trying to be truthful and honest with your emotions. You're the water bearer, right? She's holding a cup in each hand, pouring out the water. 2 cups here, right? I feel like you were hoping that this was going to be a longer journey than it ended up being. But I think that the universe is forcing a change here, because we got the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. So I feel like this, you might have been manifesting change. Like, how do I get out of this? Wishing upon a star. I wish it would be better. I was hoping it would be better. I feel like you're manifesting what the next part of your journey is supposed to be like. It's like everything has slowed down and you really have to think, look at the details, live in the moment. The Wheel of Fortune shows up with the Tower and says, it's got to break apart. It's got to change. This is not your destiny. Feels like you're in a karmic relationship, and I feel like in terms of passion, it's good, but I feel like there really are no emotions here. It also feels like somebody might be showing off. Like I get the feeling that somebody might be, like maybe you're giving them things, buying them things, and it feels like they're almost showing that off. Because the Knight of Wands is very showy, right? Taking lots of risks, lots of adventures, lots of trips possibly. But the Wheel of Fortune is telling me everything's about to change here. And I think that this Tower is actually going to be quite healing for you. But I do think it's going to make you stop, rearrange your life, look at where you're going, where your path is, because the Knight of Pentacles wants to slow it all right down to see exactly what I need or what I want in this moment. Queen of Cups, examine your feelings. How deeply do I feel about this? Empress. So I feel like you are somebody who can do it all on your own, and that's why the Nine of Cups is here. You can raise your own happiness. Feels like you can raise your own vibration. You're somebody here who is very solid, grounded. I can do anything that I want. I'm autonomous. I feel like you are probably the person, whether you're the masculine or the feminine Empress, you are the person who could take care of it all. But the other person who's with you keeps coming in and out for passion. I don't know how long you'll let that go on, but you're in this Hanged Man energy right now. Everything is sort of in a pause. I think you're trying to get perspective about what you really want, essentially, in this, and I think you're going to let it come to an end here. But I feel like not before you have a very clear conversation about why. I think you're probably going to tell this person why, but I think you end up single at the end of this with all of your assets, by the way. That's what it feels like. I don't think you're happy doing this, but I think that you can't let anybody take advantage of you either. And I think somebody is taking advantage of you. Listen, I don't think you're allowing them to. I think you keep paying it out, but you're taking notes. Every time they come and go, you're taking notes about how you felt, the situation, how much should they spend this time. I feel like you're okay with taking care of them, but I feel like this person isn't really on the up and up. I don't really trust the Knight of Wands. I'm just saying. Got Cancer energy here a couple times. We've got Libra and Taurus. We've got Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. A lot of Sag energy, right? 1, 2, 3 times. We got Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, all 3 of them. We've got Pisces, Aquarian energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. That Tower is Scorpio. And, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars is crashing into, I say crashing into because Mars and Cancer aren't really friends, crashing into Cancer, and that could blow things up, right? I don't know when that is. You might want to see when Mars is entering Cancer. I'm not sure when that is, but we do have Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. We have more Leo energy, Pisces, and Cancer, and some Taurus energy. All right. Last but not least, my water family. What's going on with you? Tell me about Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. My 2 vicious friends. Tell me what's going on with Pisces. Tell me about Pisces. Next 7 days for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Queen of Pentacles. What's going on here? The Death card. Well, the Death card with the Queen of Pentacles tells me that something in your pentacle world is about to change. There's a transformation going on. And look, the Queen can multiply anything. So I'm going to say there is more money coming, a better job. It feels like whatever shows up around the Queen is being multiplied. Got the Queen of Swords in the reverse, and we've got the Hierophant. The Hanged Man is here. You're going to be going through a bunch of changes here. I feel like you're in the midst of all these changes, honestly, and it might be some of it now, it might be some of it in the future, but it feels like there is some pretty hard transformations coming up for you here. I think they're going to make you want to swear, honestly, even if you're not a person who swears. We've got the Queen of Swords in the reverse. I feel like you are... I really don't think that that these are bad changes. I feel like these are changes. So we're talking about thinking outside the box. It feels like the Queen of Swords being in the reverse next to the Hierophant tells me non-traditionally. It feels like my thought pattern isn't necessarily the same as everyone else's. I want to keep the peace, but I also want to build a strong structure, and I'm thinking outside the box a little bit. I feel like you are about to come into some money or something that's really beneficial to your 3D. So with the Death card being here, I feel like the Death card sort of stops or transforms everything that's around it. I feel like the Queen of Swords being in the reverse tells me that possibly you felt as though you were stuck somewhere. You could not liberate yourself from something. You were out of balance. Maybe your finances were out of balance. I don't think that that's going to be you much longer. You might even start seeing that repairing itself right now. I think for a long time things might have been in a pause for you, or you were stopping, slowing down, Queen of Pentacles, taking a look at with perspective, your financial life or your job life. It could be career, right? Time, effort, energy, money, career, could be your health. Something here is about to take a really big turn. And it feels like it's beneficial to you. It feels like it's a really good turn, because I think what we're at the end of here is you feeling out of balance, not being able to make your own decisions, your own financial decisions. And I think very soon, because the bunny's here, very soon, that is going to be a thing of the past. I feel like you are building stronger structures financially, or in the 3D, or in your world of money, in your world of career. It feels like somebody might be going back to school now. It can afford to go get my doctorate. Like, it feels like that. We've got, you've really been working hard to build something. And whatever the Queen of Pentacles is around multiplies, right? So I feel like you've been waiting and working really hard, nurturing something here that now is about to pay off. So it feels like the payoff is here for you, because the whatever you've been working on back there, I think is going to be paying off in the next 7 days or so. We've got the Two of Wands. I kind of love that, because it's been the plan all along. And then we've got the King of Cups. Keep it under your hat, friend. I'm just going to say, something's about to move really fast here that you're not expecting to move this fast, because it only feels like it's been a dream. You're healing something, and I think you're healing your finances. Something is about to come up here, and I feel like it's been the plan all along to work really, really hard towards something that you want to change, but I think you're keeping it under the surface. I feel like it's something that you care deeply about, or you're very emotional about, but I feel like your plan is coming to fruition, friend. That's what it feels like. Your plan is finally coming to fruition, and I really feel like the Seven of Pentacles is all the hard work you've put in, but listen, the Seven of Pentacles is very intentional. So you planned it this way. Your plan is about to come to fruition. The stability that you've been trying to build yourself is about to take a turn, a transformation. And I feel like it's because of your commitment to very small changes, your commitment to turning your situation around so it's more stable financially. Tell me more about Pisces. So all your hard work is not for nothing. We've got the Ace of Wands. You're about to be very excited to see some sort of an end result. Or now you've been running the marathon for so long, it feels like you can finally see the finish line. You can finally see the flags. Yep, there it is. She's running. She's about to jump over this indecision. So we've got Seven of Wands here. She's got 2, right? That's the plan. And then she's got the 5 here. She's about to leap over all of the indecisions that she had, all of the competition. I feel like you're going to be coming out ahead here. And we've got 8 of Wands, which we saw on the bottom of the deck already. It's now going to speed up, because I feel like the initial part of you sacrificing, having to keep it quiet, feeling emotional, being out of balance, I feel like that's going to be a thing of the past. I think stability and commitment is here now. Because of your commitment, there's stability here. Yeah, look, temperance is here. I really love that for you, Pisces, because when temperance shows up, it's not just healing and it's not just alchemy, but it is everything coming together, converging, right? All the past, present, and everything that you have planned for the future, it's all converging into one here. It's integration, right? Integration of everything you've learned, you've known, every time you failed and got the lesson, all of that is coming together here. And I feel it's about to pay off. It's a pretty exciting time for you, I'm going to say. A very exciting time. Start getting excited. Look at this. Look at that person that's picking the apples, right? How long does it take for an apple tree to get mature enough to bring apples? I feel like you've been waiting a long time, building, working really hard. I think that you've been dealing with, stings, I'm going to say. Not everything you wanted to worked out. But I feel like now's the time of harvest for you. The building is paying off. And also, I also see the Three of Pentacles, of course, as maybe having help from your friends, from the community, being able to collaborate with other people, ideas possibly, recipes. Like, it feels like something is really coming together. We could be talking about your health coming back on track. You're going to start to really see the gains of something here. And I think that it's going to be noticed by your friend group. It does feel like something is healing itself. And you are about to leap the barriers, and I feel like you're about to pull ahead of the pack, friend. Tell me what the outcome is for Pisces. We've got the Eight of Cups. We've got the Four of Swords and the Eight of Wands. We saw them both on the bottom of the deck. Look, I feel like this is in the past. You didn't have enough, and now you have enough, and so you're giving to others as well. But I think that that's how karma works. I feel like when you know that you didn't have enough, and all of a sudden you come into a lot, and you give to the people who need, that bounces right back on you. And I feel like you plan on being here. Yeah, you're doing it for a really loving reason here. It feels like the Two of Cups is steady emotions in this particular case, and the Knight of Pentacles is, look, maybe at the end of your race is possibly a connection, but it also could be falling in love with the self, right? Yeah. So I feel that something here is about to speed up, get quicker, and I think it's because you've done the healing. I think it was supposed to go slow for a reason. You were supposed to wait. It was supposed to grow really slowly, because I feel you were also healing on this path as well. You were probably healing the mind, healing your energy. Feels like healing your, like trying to come more in a mental balance, learning how to speak out loud, say what you mean what you say. Queen of Swords in the reverse for me is someone who's stifled, felt like they couldn't speak out loud. So I think that the Eight of Cups here is telling me that you are departing from somewhere, that you, oh, that's really beautiful, actually. It's your place of healing. I think that you're departing from. You're moving forward now. Because I feel like you've stabilized your life, Pisces. I feel like this is what's coming up for you, friend. I feel like you're going to finally lift your head and say, oh, I guess I have created stability. I guess I am in my pre-empress energy. I guess I have organized enough and pulled in my spending and only living within my means. I think that this is an exciting time for you. Tell me what's around the corner. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Justice card. Look at this. I feel like if you are a business owner, I feel like it's been a rocky road. I'm going to say that maybe you've done without things. Maybe you've kept your disappointments quiet. You're waiting for transformation to show up and help you with everything. It feels like somebody here is coming into a place in time. If you're a business owner, or if you're a person who's just started a business, I feel like you're coming into a very harmonious financial time. Because the Nine of Pentacles is somebody who's really built it by themselves. They are doing it by themselves. And it feels like justice tells me you get justice. It's almost like everything that is coming together with Temperance here shows up, and now you're finally getting your justice. All the hard work, all the things you lost along the way on the path, I feel now you realize are worth it. Yeah, the Knight of Wands is here. I feel like you go from this unstable energy of trying to keep up with the pack to leading the pack, because justice is here. You're getting justice financially, justice in how people see you, which is far more confident, far more wealthy, taking better care of yourself, having had a glow up. I feel like you're doing it all at once, really. We've got the Seven of Swords, and now it's time for you to step outside so everyone else can see you. It does feel like something's being revealed, but look, the way it fell on, it's pointing to the Nine of Pentacles here. So I feel like what's being revealed is you. Tell me about the Seven of Swords in reverse. Yeah, what's being revealed is happiness, wealth, and hope. Look at that. Look, that can't be any better end to a reading, but look who you are. Huzzah, right? All the decisions you have made in times of instability, in times when maybe you didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. The Magician is here saying you were always in control. You believed that you were always in control of your reality, and you definitely were. You learned how to use your tools and make the right decisions obsessively over and over and over again. I feel like you were working really hard to keep your balance, and I feel like what the Seven of Swords is revealing is the Nine of Pentacles. It's like all of a sudden you wake up one day and you have enough, you are enough, you feel enough, you're happy, you built your happiness by yourself. The Ten of Pentacles is here saying this business will now sustain itself, or your life will now sustain itself, or your career is now going to change, but it's going to sustain itself merely because you have manifested it, you have hoped for it, you've stayed hopeful through the whole process. Yeah, I really love that for you. So we've got Scorpio energy, we've got Taurus, we've got Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. We've got more Libra energy. We've got Aquarius energy. We've got Virgo energy, eye for detail. I feel like this is all something you kept the plan under the surface. Nobody knew what you were working toward. But when they see you stepping out as a Nine of Pentacles, they're going to understand. We've got Virgo energy. We've got Aries energy, Sagittarius energy, Sag a few times. Sag is here. We've got all this exciting energy here. And it's because of your ability to never give up, I think, is the Hermit energy. We've got Aquarius here, also Virgo, and more Pisces energy. There we go. I'm going to leave it right here. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I really do appreciate you, Pisces, and everyone who's made it up to here. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I am always back. I'll be back later today. You guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the camera next week. Take care of you. Bye-bye.